Way! Hello, viewer. Today it is a Sunday, August the 20th, 2023. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all doing very well today. On this evening's stream backslash podcast, we are discussing the goings on this week in the entertainment and on the social media. It was a week where the Blue Beetle was dead on arrival and Snow White showed her true colours. Ooh. But, and it's a big but, before we begin, you can find us here on the YouTube, or if you prefer your entertainment in the podcast form, we are also on the Spotify. Links are in the description. So if you've not shut down for the evening, as I always say, lots to get through. Shall we get them guests out? Yeah, let's do it. Of course we should. Okay, so first, he is the backbone of Sunday nights. You know I genuinely love this guy. It is the fantastic Matt Cat 83.
What's up, nerds? How
Hello
are you?
there.
Hello there. How are you, friend?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, just working on my Blue Beetle review, trying to get all that stuff done. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are the kids?
They are, what do you Brits always say? They are full of beans, or is that how
Little
what you,
terrors,
yeah,
yes.
they are, I swear to God, they have so much energy, and I only have so much. I'm like, I'm powering down like a computer.
Some people are coming in hot. Here you go, look. Common people.
Listen. My mother is doing quite well. Nothing to report, though.
Oh, we
It's
need
just
your mummy to come on here. It's
oh,
such a privilege.
I mean, she probably would,
White
but
privilege, obviously.
yeah, of course.
How's the channel going? Doing okay, yeah?
I think doing well. I'm pretty sure I'll hit 6,000
Oh
subscribers by
man,
the
you
end of this
deserve
year.
50,000
Thank
all
you.
day.
Thank you.
Funniest guy on YouTube.
Oh,
There's
thank you.
no
That's
justice in this crazy upside down world.
well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Great to have you on, mate. Shall we get the next peep
Absolutely,
out?
absolutely.
Okay. Here we go. Next, new to the channel, be gentle. It is the price of reason. Hello
Hey,
there.
hello.
Hello, friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be here.
It's great to have you. For the peeps in the chats, a little bit about yourself, my friend. Who are you? Where'd you come from? What do you do?
Well, I currently I live in the US. Some people know me because for a number of years on Twitter, I had a news account, kind of like discussing film, but without all the shills. And the Twitter account was going well for a few years, but then they started shadow banning me and doing all this stuff. And
Oh,
before Elon took over, I just decided to start posting on YouTube. And for the past year, that's pretty much what I've been doing. And that's sort of been growing. And I think some people like it. So some people also don't like it and get annoyed and things like that. But I'm already used to it.
yes, there are lots of people who get annoyed with just for the sake of it, really. But channel going well, my friend. Yes.
Yes, it's, day by day. I put in a lot of work into it, and hopefully over time, more people will watch it. But even for what's been going on over the past year, I'm very grateful and happy, and I enjoy doing it.
Oh, fantastic! The lots of hard work goes into it, isn't it? Really, and one day, hopefully, it will happen.
Yes.
Great to have you on, my friend. Shall we get the next guest out?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Here she is, folks. I'll start again. Next, the chat favorites and our favorite. It is the wonderful Vex Electronica.
How is everyone tonight or this afternoon or this morning, depending
Hello,
on where you are?
Vex. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. I could complain, but I don't want to complain. How about you?
I like to complain, but not at the moment. You dropped a new video today, I do believe.
I did, and a lot of people are telling me that there's audio issues, which is unsurprising because
No.
my microphone crapped out like actually in the middle of this podcast last Sunday.
Yeah.
So I guess that has come through, unfortunately, through the video.
Oh
But
dear.
otherwise, people are enjoying it. It seems I haven't been called a racist yet. I'm waiting for it.
You
Any
racist.
day now, any day.
Well, I specifically call Sholo Sholo Sholo. I didn't shy away from all
Yeah, how do you pronounce his name?
it's Sholo for the first name, the X, but I don't know how to pronounce his last
I
name.
thought it was
Oh,
Zolo.
that's what I keep saying, Zolo.
No, he says Sholo in
Oh,
English.
Sholo Mariduana.
There you go.
Okay,
He's
well,
got
I'm
it.
gonna have to.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to go and to edit some stuff out. If my review comes out and it sounds like all of a sudden you're just like, "Hey guys, whatever, Sholo,
Here you go,
and then it's like,
folks. Smilex coming in hot. Hey, Vex, you are a racialist.
Thank you. Thank you, Smilex. I always appreciate your fresh takes.
Or at least
Ye-
somebody does.
You know what's funny though? That in my review, some of the only compliments I saw for Blue Beetle was that a few people wrote that I actually pronounced that guy's name correctly.
Oh. I mean, it sounded like you were Spanish just when you said his name. I was impressed, at least.
That's what they thought, and I didn't even know if I was saying it correctly. But if they're happy, then at least
You did
somebody's
something.
happy. Yeah,
Right,
at
you
least they
did something right.
I
They
think
could-
you will go far with your channel, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Vex, great to have you on, yes?
Always a pleasure.
Shall we I'll start again. Wheel him out. The last guest. Shall we get him out? Yes.
Yes, do it.
Yes. I can't read my script. What's happened to it? Let me scroll down. Boomer. I'm doing a Gary. Okay. And last, but by no means least, we see the good inside our next guest. He is the Dark Sith Lord Chord, Little Platoon.
Evening.
There. Evening.
Hello. How is everyone?
Pretty
Good.
good.
How about you?
Good.
I'm tired as hell and unwell. So yeah, if I might then be sniffing or yawning through this one, but I'll try and keep those to a minimum.
What are you up to at the moment, Lord?
I can't decide at the moment. I saw Blue Beetle earlier. I have some things to say. Can I be bothered to say them? Is another matter. I have a long history of getting in trouble mispronouncing vaguely Hispanic names as well, so that's a reason to avoid it. And then there's a Mando script in the works, but then Ahsoka comes out on Tuesday, so
I know it's Tuesday
yeah,
now.
there's too much stuff on, I haven't decided which one to take first.
Double episode on Tuesday, I think.
Yes.
That's thrown a spanner in the works.
Yeah, it has.
Anyway.
But kind of looking forward to it in a weird, sort of unhappy, dreadful way.
That's
Right
the
on,
Disney
yeah.
Star Wars way.
Mm-hmm.
So great to have you on, Lord.
Good to be back.
Shall we get on with it? Yes, I think we should, shouldn't we? Now, have I put my graphics up? I'm a boomer. End of episode 158. End of week musings. Sunday, August 2020.
I don't remember the Blue Beetle suit looking as bad in the film as it does in that thumbnail. Is that how it looks in the actual film? Was I just not paying attention?
No, it does
Oh,
look that bad.
It does.
Oh.
It does.
It's such a crap film. There's no decent stills on Tinternet as well, bastards. But anyway, let's move on. If you've made it this far and you can read this, you're a better man than me. Please like, share, subscribe. Clicks, baby. Clicks, clicks, clicks. Can't speak. Please consider donating to channel. Links in description. All the usual. Okay, so no television stuff this week because there's Is it me, or is there nothing on TV to watch, really?
If there is, I can't think of anything.
Exactly.
Nothing
okay.
good.
Right. Okay, yes. Shall we start with the Blue Beetle then? Who would like to go first? Price, you're new. You've actually seen this, haven't you?
I've seen the movie and I posted a review, yes. Even
Your thoughts?
I didn't like this movie. I think that it was terrible, actually. And if I had to quickly explain why I didn't like it,
There you go.
there's a few things. First of all, the good thing I can say about the movie is that I think that Sholo Meridwania is actually good in the lead role.
Oh, nice.
But that's the only good thing I can say about it. They basically made him a side character in his own movie. Every scene, he has 5 family members around him, mostly female, that seem to be more important than he is. And for the third act of the movie, he's a damsel in distress that gets tied up somewhere, and his mother, sister, grandmother, and uncle have to go and rescue him. It really, I don't know if I can describe in words how disappointing it is, but, and also throughout the movie, him and his family they really lean heavily into that they're victims, because I guess they're originally from Mexico. So they keep talking about how much victims they are throughout the whole movie. And when you're living in a community in the United States like this family is, there's a large population of Hispanic people in the United States. And to me, everything that they're trying to do there just doesn't ring true to me. I'm not saying that there's no people that are unfortunate or something like that, but to lean into it so heavily with such a poorly written script beyond that, just things randomly happen, very contrived. Every single thing that happens very contrived. All in all, I just didn't like the movie at all. I thought it was terrible.
Oh dear. Vex?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts?
I don't know what Price of Reason is saying at all. This movie was fantastic. It was even better than Avengers Infinity War. Like, I was just absolutely blown away by this cinematic masterpiece.
Was it the representation?
Yes, I love that they threw every Mexican stereotype at our characters. Child militia origins, loving tacos, crammed into a tiny bungalow. Oh, it was. Oh, I felt represented, and I'm not even
fantastic.
Latino.
Oh, get in.
Honestly, fuck this movie. Anyone who likes it, no offense, but actually, no, take offense. You're a fucking idiot if you enjoyed this. It was
Well,
so
strong words.
No, I'm serious, because it was so painfully bland, painfully predictable. There was absolutely nothing unique or spectacle about it. It's just chocked full of messaging too that is at times a little bit subtler than what we're used to. But it props up all the female characters unnecessarily in the third act and makes, like Price of Reason had said, our main character a damsel in distress. The romance doesn't make sense, and it's really forced, and it's even more uncomfortable when you consider that she seems to be almost 30 from the looks of it, and he's just freshly 22. The family messaging was really nice, but even then, a lot of it is sacrificed just to get all of these like little Latino quips in there as well.
Dear.
Which is a shame, because with all that family stuff, it feels like there was an opportunity to take this in a fresh direction that actually would have done not only this movie good, but the genre as a whole, as well as DC's current standing with superhero films. So we'll get into it more, but yeah, it's fucking terrible. Absolute garbage.
Catty?
Well, I have to say I didn't hate it as much as you guys did. I didn't love it. It was very medium for me personally. I took my 5-year-old son, so it's always a different thing when I take my son, because he really gets into this stuff. But and a lot of the time he just kept saying like, what the heck? Like when the spoilers, when the Blue Beetle bug machine, when it starts farting to like
Awesome.
Yeah, he was like, "What the heck? It's farting," and I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty gross." I did like some of the family stuff. Like, I thought it was kind of touching and stuff. And I'm sorry if you can hear my children right now. They are.
It's fine. Kids are kids.
It's okay.
And then but you're right. I'm gonna piggyback on some of the stuff that you guys said. First off, the messaging, even though subtle, was very much like, I was like, all right, I've had enough of this nonsense already. Like, I did like, and somebody commented in the comment section, but I thought the same thing when he's like, oh, I want some they don't have food like they do here, and then they take him to a Tex-Mex restaurant. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I can get this anywhere. And so, and then, Susan Sarandon, what a bad actress in this movie. Jesus Christ. Every time she was on scene, it was terrible. She was like, Carapax, get them. And I was doing better acting right now than she did in the entire fucking movie. Cause she's like, no, don't take my stuff. And I was like, oh, what is going on here? And then, it was just really medium, but I tell you right now, it's a lot better. And I don't know if you said something, Vex, just now, but, it's a lot better than some stuff that Marvel has put out, like in the last couple of movies. But again, yeah, you guys were right. It's very bland, very medium, but it's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible. And I do like
Smilex Oscar-winning Susan Sarandon.
Not for this movie, I'll tell you right now. She was terrible in this movie. But yeah, it was very Spy Kids for a lot of the movie, and then it almost reached Power Rangers territory, in my opinion. Like when he pulls out that big sword and starts fighting Carapax at the end, I was all like, I could hear the "Go Power Rangers" like while he was doing that. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. So, it was very medium at best, medium.
Lord.
What else is there to say? Well, I had a few more positive things to say about this film than I thought I would have coming out of it. I think some of the acting was actually quite strong, as has been mentioned. I think some of the family dynamic is actually quite pleasant. It can be quite touching, can even be heartwarming for small periods. It's kind of difficult to praise it too much, though, because it's only there because the film is really trading so heavily on its Latino identity. And what does all Hollywood know about Latinos? It's that they really love their families. So, of course, you have to have the larger-than-life, overbearing grandmother and mother, and everyone has to be in those scenes all the goddamn time. But some of it's quite touching and quite well done. I didn't find myself hating it particularly at any point. I think there are some hate-worthy moments in it. Not least some of its less pleasant racial politics stuff, which sort of seeps in more and more as the film goes on, and ends up being kind of unpleasant, certainly towards the very end. I don't think actually it was a particularly girl-bossy type film. He wasn't, in fact, a damsel in distress, despite what's been said. He wasn't rescued by any of the women who went to save him. The problem is not that he was rescued by girls. The problem is that he was rescued by his suit. And throughout the film, the relationship with the suit is a tricky one because he's not actually in control for much of the film. The suit has an automated system. The suit has a personality. The suit has a consciousness that he has to commune with. And for the first half of the film, it's in charge. So whenever he's in a fight scene, it's not him fighting, it's the suit, and the suit's awesome. So there's no stakes involved. Then for some reason toward the end, it decides that he's in charge. And of course, well, now he can lose. But he has to get rescued because he has this scene which is ripped straight from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when he communes with his recently deceased father, much as Rocket communes with the recently deceased Otter. And the father tells him that, no, this is what you need to do and all the rest of that. So now you need to go and bond with your suit properly, and then they fuse and become one. So then it's unclear after that point who's in charge. Is he fighting or is the suit fighting for him? The main villain is not really Susan Sarandon's character. She kind of is. She's the big bad, but the proximate villain is this Carapace guy, who they are trying to turn into like a mass-produced version of the Scarab, I guess. And the whole plot is they need to download the code from the Scarab to give it to him to turn him into effectively bad Beetle. But then when it comes to he comes to kill him, because I think 2 or 3 times over the course of the film, our protagonist, whose name I can never fucking remember, has had the opportunity to end this big bad guy and has not done so. Then he thinks that big bad guy, Bad Beetle, has killed his uncle. So he goes to kill him. The suit stops him from killing him for the third time, I think it is. And it says, no, because I need to show you what his backstory is, right? And then we get this flashback sequence where we discover that the big bad Beetle is a child soldier. He was manipulated by Susan Sarandon. It's effectively an evil whitey colonizer narrative. So he's not really evil. All of the really terrible things he's done are not his fault. They are effectively the fault of evil whitey colonizers in South America. So that's why he is not to be blamed for his actions. What's the first thing he does, though, once he's saved? Well, he picks up Susan Sarandon's character, who, by virtue of being a white woman, does not get off that easily, even though she also has a traumatic past, and he kills her instead. So it's basically, if you're foreign, then you have a victimhood narrative, and you are allowed to live and be moral, even if you're villainous. Whereas if you're a white woman, that doesn't apply. And that sort of comes at the sort of the end of a long culmination of that type of racial politics that really builds up toward the end. It's effectively like El Wakando forever by the end. And it's really kind of distressing and disappointing. But I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to. So there is that to be said for it.
You need to do a video. Price of Reason. Were there any good points? Any good things about this movie?
I like the main actor, and I think that the guy that plays his father was a decent actor. And the idea of having some family, if they would have focused maybe on a relationship with his father who's sick, maybe he comes back from college and his father is sick and can't make the payments for the house, and he feels he needs to step up and become the man of the house, and he's trying to make money. I think that would have been a more interesting and personal story. I understand that part of the Latino flavor they wanted to add was that he has 50 family members in every scene, but I don't think that helps the movie. I feel like it could have been okay for a scene or two showing that when he arrived that there was some family there, but I really didn't need to see these people every second. And just to address something that Little Platoon said about him being damsel in distress, I recall that I'm trying to block this movie out, but I recall that they fly in that Beetle. Susan Sarandon has him tied up, and then George Lopez flies a Beetle, I think, with the grandmother, the mother, the sister, and the would-be girlfriend, and they're all going to go there, and they want to battle these kind of commando soldiers. So the grandmother picks up like this huge weapon, and she wipes out an entire unit of commando soldiers herself, and then she says, "Take that, you imperialists."
Yeah, because she used to be she was a rebel somewhere in the distant past of Cambodia or somewhere. That's fine. Then my point there is that they didn't actually rescue him. So that's the point. They've gone there to rescue him because he is strung up, but they don't actually save him. That's him communing with his father and then with the suit. So the suit breaks him out, and in the end he has to rescue his sister. So it's not quite like the women storm in and save the day. That's what they wanted to do, but they didn't in fact do it.
Oh,
yes, they didn't go all the way.
Vex.
Sorry. The suit is a girl, though.
It is a girl.
And rescues him.
Well.
Sorry, go
If
on.
you want to stretch the definition of girl, yes, the scarab suit is a woman.
Can I say some comic booky stuff real quick?
You're going to.
So I'm going to. Yes, you're right. One thing that I was kind of disappointed is, first off, the Olmec suits that are what Carapax is in the comic books are so freaking cool, and I really felt like they didn't bring it to the screen as cool as it could be, because in the comic books, people don't know they're Olmecs. They're injected with this thing. So it's like they're almost like the Skrull we're supposed to be in Secret Invasion, where they're like hidden, and then all of a sudden they're activated and they come out of their like shells and turn into these robot soldiers, which I was like, that would have been cool if they'd done that. But of course they didn't, because DC doesn't know how to do cool shit. And then also Blue Beetle. Now, I didn't know anything about Blue Beetle really, except for what I had learned from Young Justice. Season 2 did a really good job with it. And then I went and bought a bunch of comic books to try to get into the character and everything. And the comic books weren't as cool as Young Justice Season 2. And this movie was not as cool as Young Justice Season 2 either. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the comic book stuff. I just, it was a lot of missed opportunities in terms of this character. And Susan Sarandon was just fucking terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep harping on it. She was really, really bad.
Was she doing it for the paycheck? Obviously.
She was doing it for the paycheck, for sure. She was terrible. I hated her so much on screen.
Question then. I've not seen this. I was going to, but I think Vex talked me out of it. Thank God. Risk of spoilers, everybody. I will say good evening, chat. I forgot. Vex.
Risk of spoilers after all this time.
Right.
Not just the latest spoiler warning ever.
In fact, folks, it's not spoilers. It's doing you a favour. Was there a post-credit scene?
Yes.
Yes. It was like so there's a whole little layer that they find at the Jennifer, the love interest, her old estate, because they just kind of throw in there that her dad used to be the Blue Beetle, and it's a bit of a weird like continuity thing because okay, he was the Blue Beetle, but you guys found the Blue Beetle in this giant stone at the beginning of the movie. So how did that work out? But it's I guess they had done something or turned something on in that layer, and it plays a message over that's meant for Jennifer. But that's I don't really know what that means comic book wise, like what that's alluding
I think
to.
I can help. Basically, there were 3 versions of Blue Beetle. The second one that they did in the comics is Ted Cord, which is Jenny's father. And then the third one in the comics is Jaime Reyes, which is what Sholom Redwania is in the movie.
Wow.
So basically, they're sort of winking and honoring, I guess, the second version also. The second version, it was Jenny's father. And at the end, in kind of a post-credit scene, it seems like he's still alive. That's what it's implying, that if this were to ever get a sequel, which it probably won't, perhaps we'll see the other Blue Beetle, the older one.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't help the movie in any way, though. I mean,
No,
this is
it
just
doesn't.
this is just knowledge. If you happen to know a little bit about the comics, maybe it's helpful, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change what I think about the movie.
Does this feel like it was part of the previous universe? You know, the expanded universe.
Not really.
No.
But then even they aren't even sure exactly where it sits. I think James Gunn has said about 4 different things about this film, and the director has said about 4 different things about this film. And it basically boils down to if it performs well, it's part of the new universe, and if it doesn't, it's not. So they probably will have differing opinions on that, because I know the director said that he would like to do a trilogy out of these. I don't think the financial returns is going to support that. But then again, it's not got any kind of real continuity links with the rest. There's mention of Superman and there's mention of the Flash, but that's it. And that could be any version of those characters as well. So hard to say where that one exactly sits, but
they try to tie it in that there is a larger universe as well. Like Jamie is wearing a Gotham State sweater in one of the scenes. You see a LexCorp sign on a tower right next to where Cord Industries is as well. And yeah, they mentioned, oh, this is why Superman works alone and all that stuff. Apparently, I don't know, Gunn shot this down, but who knows, because this guy is just playing free ball at this point. That there was apparently a Batflick like voice cameo in there that was taken out before release. I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah.
And they did have the other scarabs in the very beginning of the movie.
Yes, there's like 6 or 7 scarabs, and they're all different colors. I think we see one kind of destroy a planet, but then the other ones just kind of like drift off so that they focus just on the blue one.
Yeah,
so they clearly want to expand this out by showing us that there's more than just a blue one.
Yeah, the green one lands on Mars.
Oh,
there you go, folks.
Yeah,
Princess Fiona not even bothering to go to India to see it.
Yeah, just wait till it's on Max for free.
Well, it's just even just like as a turn your brain off kind of film, it's not even enjoyable in that sense because you just pick up on how much they're trying to inject culture into it at the sacrifice of everything else.
Oh, it's forced. Yes,
yeah, and which they didn't even need to do that. I felt like, because I mean, like I said before, I went and bought a bunch of comic books, and I thought they did a good job in the comic books, portraying that he was Hispanic and came from a Hispanic family without shoving it down your throat. I mean, did he go? He would go home and have dinner like every Sunday with his family, and you got to meet his family there, and then they would pop up every now and then, and I thought that was really nice. And this movie, it was just like, hey, he's got a family. And it's like, yeah, we know he's got a family. They're there every 5 seconds. Trust us. We know. They're cheering him on to go to a job interview. What kind of shit is that? That's some crazy shit.
The
difficulty is with this one as well. The difficulty with this is that if you take out the family stuff, if you take out the cultural stuff, if you take out the fact that they're Mexican, this is the most generic superhero film of all the superhero films. That there is nothing else to it which actually marks it out as a thing. So that's the only thing that makes it in any way notable. The problem is that I think that that's what they thought as well, which is why all the pre-publicity interviews and all the reviews that came out before launch, once the embargo was lifted, all stressed that this was unapologetically Latino. It was diverse to the point of diversity max and all the rest of that crap. And then your question at the time would have been, well, okay, but what's it about? And then after the film, you realize that's why they didn't talk about what it was about, because it's not really about anything. It's just generic superhero thing, but this time it's got like spices, and so it's different apparently.
Right. And then
like
I don't know,
cumin or chili.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You need those things.
Paprika.
I don't cook, so I don't know what you're talking about. I
will just say, if I may, Franco's posted Price of Reasons channel.
Yeah, I subscribe, you guys.
as well.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
May I just ask this before you proceed, Mads? Was this still in Batman is a Fascist? Was that still in?
It was, yes.
It was, yes.
Yeah, but I actually thought, having come away from that scene, that actually made perfect sense, because it's put in the mouth of a character, the crazy uncle character, who is a known kind of anarchist conspiracy nut, so it's supposed to sound a bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
and it's not the film actually telling you that the film thinks Batman is a fascist. So actually that line I don't think it needed to be there. It didn't get a laugh, but it wasn't as offensive as I think in isolation it seemed. The uncle's character has many other problems besides that. Like, he's so insanely tech happy, and he can immediately build like this electromagnetic system that knocks out all the CCTV cameras in a high-tech office building. He immediately knows how to hack into old Blue Beetle's computer. He automatically knows how to drive the Beetle thing. Like, he knows everything the plot needs him to know at any given moment for absolutely no given reason. So he's really just there to make the odd joke and then to make stuff happen. And it kind of plays against what the film wants you to believe as well, because there's a bit where the main character and his sister are sitting on their rooftop looking out from the favela at the big shining city. And of course, even just with the visual, you know what point they're trying to stress there, which is that we are put down and live in the slums, and there are all the rich people over there. But just in case the thickos in the audience missed that, they actually say it overtly as well. Progress isn't for us, I think, is the line that they use in the film. Two problems with that. In the first place, the uncle is way more skilled than anyone in the high-tech world we're seeing. Like, there's no way he doesn't have a good job. And in the second place, when the main character is asked what he wants out of life, he says, oh no, like, I'm going to get rich and I'm going to own a mansion and all the rest of that. So it's like, well, so you've just undermined the like social bifurcation point you were trying to stress. You want to gentrify the neighborhood. You're complaining about being gentrified, you fool. What are you complaining about? Stop it.
The funny thing too about that conversation between Jamie and his sister on the rooftop is that, yeah, she's pointing to how all of these white people have oppressed them. But in the scene prior, when they're like having dinner, when Jamie gets off the plane, the mom's like, oh, why aren't you applying to college? It's like, I don't want to go into debt. So it's like, there is an opportunity for you to break out of the same oppression that you're pointing fingers at. You're just choosing not to for reasons. Right. So there's a lot of contradictions like that throughout the film, like really subtly or not so subtly, depends on who's watching. But I just thought that was equally ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay. Go on, Matt.
I was just going to say, speaking of the uncle, a couple of things he didn't know how to do was get a haircut and dress properly, because he's got a mullet the whole movie, and it drove me mental. Mullets are gross. Anyways, also, the city, real quick, Palmyra City, which is such a stupid name for a city, is lit up like a freaking Christmas tree. There's too much neon. It's tacky as shit. I didn't like it at all. It was so much purple and blue. It was so much. And then one thing, I don't know if you guys mentioned it. Sorry, I had to step away for a hot minute. But there was a scene with the sister who I could not stand the entire movie. What an insufferable asshole. But there was a scene where they're cleaning Victoria Cord's mansion, and she's all like, you're going to be my lookout while I go take a dump in her pristine bathroom. And then she comes out and she's all like, I think she said something like, that was Lux or something like that. And I was like, this is so gross right now that you're talking about poop. I'm like, it's it's just gross. And I personally don't care for talk like that because I have a weak constitution and I'm like, ugh, and everything.
Well, it's just like
Yeah.
Amy Schumer humor, basically, because this is empowering to women when they can start to act like a quote unquote man,
dear.
right?
Oh,
It's
dear.
toilet humor. That's all it was. But she looked like Happy Hogan to me. I don't know about you guys. That stocky build, the square face. It was kind of like a cringy Happy Hogan.
That's funny.
Speaking of that toilet scene, though, can we just take a word to appreciate how staggeringly predictable absolutely every single plot point in the film is? So you know, for example, that when hero guy happens to accidentally end up in the same room as pretty niece of supervillain, that they're going to get together. That's just going to happen. You know that when she goes to steal the scarab, she's going to have somehow give it to him, and then it's going to infect him. That, of course, happens. You know that when they're sitting down having their emotional heart-to-heart about her dead parents, and they're going to about to kiss, but then the uncle will jump in and surprise them. That happens. Like every single thing that you think, oh yeah, that's the obvious choice, is the choice that they make. So you actually don't really need to watch that much of the film, because all you need to do is to see like the first 3 scenes, and the rest of it just plays naturally out in your head before you even see it, which is quite impressive.
I mean, even then, like the first 2/3 of the movie are just spoiled by the trailers, because it's so easy to put the plot together just from the trailers, and then you
That
watch
is
the movie,
true.
you're like, aside from maybe that last fight scene between I'm just calling him Doom Guy because he looked like Doom Guy, but Doom Guy and Jamie, like there's really, and even that's predictable, but there's nothing, you saw it all in the trailers. It's a waste of time.
Is it a good thing then that this movie only cost 100 million to make?
I mean,
Very much
yes.
depends how much it makes back, doesn't it?
30 million.
Well,
Oh,
it was originally, this movie originally was supposed to go on to HBO Max, but then they bumped it up to the cinemas, and I just go, I would have just put it back on Max, because I'm like, this was not, in my opinion, theater-worthy material.
Couldn't
like,
they have made a really good TV series for the same amount of money?
Probably.
They could have done, but there's not enough content in this to spin it out, even for the length it is. So I don't like spinning it out into a TV series would be just the kiss of death,
Well,
really.
perhaps another character.
I think there
Like
are one or two
Batgirl.
things that are worth praising, like stress of Batgirl, yeah. One or two things that really are worth praising about it, though, and it's the lowest of
Representation.
all bars to clear, but there's no multiverse, and it makes, therefore, much more sense. So, like, as long as if that's how low the bar is, it cleared that one. The plot doesn't have multiversal nonsense in it, so hooray. It wasn't the most girl bossy thing in the world, also hooray. Some of the acting wasn't shit, also hooray. That's pretty much
Just
it, really.
not needed, was it? Here you go, uninspired reviewer. Hello, my friend. Not a cinema-worthy film. Should have given us Peacemaker Season 2. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I agree with that, too. I love Peacemaker.
I will give it another positive, and I made this positive in my review as well. I did enjoy some of the Tacoma jokes, just because I also drive a Tacoma that I baby the shit out of. So for that reason, I give that a slight positive. It got kind of tired when they kept defaulting back to that joke, but there were 2 instances where I did like laugh out loud because I was like, oh, I would kind of pull that shit.
And didn't he call it his little taco? And I was like, "Oh, get out of here with your nonsense."
To be fair, that's pretty common to call a Tacoma a taco. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't own a Tacoma. Did you have a commercial for a Tacoma before the movie? Because that's what I had one of those. It was a Blue Beetle in a commercial.
No, I didn't, but I'm really glad that that Toyota was part of like the marketing for this, because I noticed that they have the Toyota logos at the premiere and stuff. Because just like Top Gear had done before, like all you need to see is a Toyota getting the shit kicked out of it to sell a car. So
here you go, folks. R2, we're going to see a huge streaming collapse in the next couple of years. Nearly all of these services are losing money, especially on their new content. What do you think to that, Lord? I know you're very big on streaming.
True. I think maybe the next couple of years is possibly too hasty, given that the amount of money that the companies behind the streaming services have to throw at them, and the amount of reputational risk they've incurred by running them, and the amount of face they will lose by losing them. I think it'll be a little bit longer. It'll be probably a slower contraction, but a very definite contraction. It has given us quite a fun game, though, to play, which is, it used to be just, well, how much do you think this will make at the box office on the second weekend? You can now start playing games with films, which is basically, how long do you reckon it'll take before this one's on streaming? because the worse they are, the quicker they end up there. So my guess with Blue Beetle is maybe a month, and it's going to be on some streaming service somewhere.
Oh dear.
But yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go on, Price.
I was going to say that I think a lot of these streaming services over the next few years may consolidate, meaning they'll start merging with each other. There's just too many of them. That's what I think, but I don't know for sure.
No, I definitely see it going that way. The fact that we already have like bundles happening, it's bound to be the way it's going. It's what TV did, and now streaming services are inevitably going to do it as well.
Also, you'll also see them start franchising out content they'd otherwise host locally. So Disney will start selling some of the things it would otherwise have put on Disney Plus because it will make more money. They have done it already, and they're going to do it more. And they're also changing massively the way the subscription model itself works. So I know Disney, for example, as part of the buying of Hulu, wants people to move to either higher subscription tiers or to smaller subscription tiers with adverts, because it turns out the only thing on Disney Plus that currently makes ads is that actually makes money is adverts. So when they're allowed to run third-party advertisements, actually they can turn a profit on that. So what they want to do is make people pay a fixed amount of money over a fixed period of time on a service that also runs ads. In effect, what they want to do is to make cable TV again.
Right.
So this whole adventure has been a crushing waste of time.
Right.
Final question: is this the worst DC movie, folks?
No.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad, but it's not Zack Snyder bad, thankfully. So
see, I didn't think it was like this movie is not, to me. It's not. I know that Price and Vex, I know you guys hated it. I didn't hate it. It was just not, like I said before, it was very mediocre at best for me. So I don't think it's the worst.
Well, like oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're the guest.
Oh, I was gonna say the only reason I genuinely like, if it weren't for all of the representation stuff, I'd be like, okay, that wasn't a great film. It was predictable, but it's not the worst one that I've seen come out of DC. But it's just because there's a lot of things that they could have done right, and that you see an inkling of them trying to do right, that they just completely obliterate for the representation. So for that reason, that's why I don't like it at all. I think it's a garbage movie.
Oh dear. May I do some super chats, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
Sure.
No.
Right, okay. Let's move on then, folks. Garth Knights for $10. Will Catty make a cameo on the 12-hour Attack of the Clones Spectacular? Also, will there be giveaways? I could use a Ruin Johnson / not Brian Young autographed copy of The Last Jedi. Well, you can have mine if you want, mate.
I'm not gonna lie, for a hot minute I thought the AOTC was American Opportunity Tax Credit, and I was like, I don't know what you guys are gonna do.
What?
You just watched a film about Mexicans and you're already talking about tax credits.
I don't know if I'll make a Attack of the Clones cameo, but maybe we'll see. I'll talk to Brown. We'll see.
Yeah, that's coming up soon. I don't know when we're going to do it, but I think it's going to be scheduling on that one. Here you go, Princess Fiona for $2. It's my goddamn planet. Understand. Can I say this?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Monkey boy.
I think it's a quote, but I don't know where it's from.
Yeah, I don't know what it's from either.
Is that maybe a Avengers?
Planet of the
Thanos
Apes?
say that?
Well, now we have to look.
Yes. Very good, Fiona. Yes, it is. Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
Get your stinking paws off me. Garth Knights for $5. I wonder if the Malibu Estates KK is selling is where her and Ruin spent many a night, with Ruin seducing her with his portrayal of women via the pen.
I think it's meant to be peen.
That as well. The penis is mightier than the sword, or is it the pen? Anyway, moving on.
But in Ryan Johnson's case, the pen is bigger than the peen. So.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Garth Knight again for $5. Cheers, Garth. Thank you so much, my friend. Catty, I know you've laid down with Asian gals.
I have.
You lucky bastard.
3 to be exact.
You lucky bastard.
At the same time, or in
I
succession?
wish at the same time, but no, all separately.
Have you ever seduced a Latina via dinner and a movie?
I have. Her name was Melanie, and that is a story within itself because she was very like nice but very weird. That's a story in itself.
Says you.
Yeah.
You are a proper dark horse, aren't you?
I guess so.
Right, okay. Shall we move on from... We took far too long on that, but anyway. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's kind of a sidestep, as you know. Okay. Blue Beetle earns the lowest Thursday previews of the year for a DC movie domestically, lower than Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash.
I mean, was it? It's not like that's like hard to do.
Right.
I mean,
The bar is already so low. So I mean, they couldn't market this. So what did you? At least Flash and Shazam, they had their actors doing their thing, but I'm sure maybe it would have done marginally better if Jolo, whatever his name is, was out there doing the
YOLO.
rounds.
YOLO.
Sure, YOLO.
Yeah, I think so too. They because of the strike, they couldn't do interviews and stuff, so he couldn't go out there and talk about his movie. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how much he would have helped because I mean, everybody I know, first off, everybody I talked to, nobody knew this movie was coming out, and they're like, "Oh, that's coming out," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What's that about?" And I was like, "Oh, it doesn't even matter." And I don't even think people care about this character because I'm sorry, most people don't know who this character is, and unless no offense to anybody else, but unless you're like me and you're like a big comic book nerd, nobody's gonna go out and buy these comic books to bone up on this character. So nobody cares.
You're
Nobody
good at
cares.
boning up, aren't you?
To be fair, I mean that's what they said about Iron Man, but they promoted it. They did a good job.
Yes, they did. They did.
That one had a
Also-
good screenplay, though. The first Iron Man, actually, that screenplay was good. You had
It's a
Robert
great
Downey
film.
Jr.,
Yeah,
exceptional
it's the quality
actor.
of the product, yeah.
I was trying to give it some bonus points, okay?
I will say that of those 3 films on the screen there, it's probably the best. I don't remember
is.
much of Shazam 2, but it's definitely better than The Flash.
Didn't see
Oh,
it.
really? See, oh, okay. Well, I
It is the
disagree.
best of the 3 in my opinion.
Was Flash really that bad?
It was
Yes.
No, I loved the Flash. It was good. I liked it.
in the bin.
I think both were bad.
Must
Well,
be
hey,
just you and me
agree
and
to
Catty who liked
disagree,
it.
agree to
Yeah, must be just
disagree.
me and you liked it then.
Yeah, probably.
I-
we travel in
I-
large pack of 2.
If Jolo, if this kid could have been able
Easy.
to go and do the rounds, like I actually think he's really charming and
He is
charismatic and
charming.
all.
Yeah,
the
he's
interviews
great
he
in
did.
Karate Kid.
Right.
Cobra
So
Kai.
If people had a chance to see, like, if it weren't for the strike and people could actually see how charming he is, I think that would have actually helped this movie a lot.
I'm not.
Like,
Yeah.
I like him. I think his
I like
casting
him
was
too.
pretty
He's
good.
all right, yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah, so I had no problem there.
Yeah, I saw him in some interviews before years before this movie came out because he had gotten cast. I saw him on Trevor Noah's show. I don't remember what that's called, but
The Daily Show.
yeah, there you go. He's not on anymore, but he was on that show with him, and I thought he was charming. Also, he was very fun. He talked about being on Cobra Kai, and then he talked about being in Blue Beetle, which they hadn't started filming yet. But I thought he was charming also. So he seems like a good kid.
Yeah.
And he did a good job in this movie. I don't want to diss him because I did like him in this movie.
He's the only thing I liked in the movie. If you ask me what I liked about the movie, okay, 2 things. I liked him, and another thing I liked was that the love interest, at least she didn't look bad. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that sounds weird today, but in Hollywood today, having a love interest that
Yeah,
actually
ugly,
looks
yeah,
decent
yeah, yeah.
They
is
didn't try to
really
man her
something.
up.
Yeah, I mean, she was pretty. She wasn't like body positive or anything, you know.
She
Yeah.
looked like a woman on top
Yes.
of that.
Vex question, what is a woman?
A woman is someone that has XX chromosomes
Yes.
and a vagina, naturally occurring vagina.
A bonus hole.
Yes. No.
That's what they
no,
call
hold
them
on.
nowadays. That's what they call them nowadays. Yeah. Okay.
A bonus. That's so ridiculous.
Horrible. Okay. Shall we move on then, folks? It's probably a sidestep. I can't remember.
Let's do
I'm
it.
old.
Let's do it.
I'm old. Okay. Blue
Not just a
Beetle.
sidestep, it's the same damn picture.
Different text.
Do you have what it
just
made
mind.
domestic?
It's like just over 25 million domestic.
Oh, so to under 30. That's bad. That's
Okay,
bad.
so 43 point.
I mean, 43 worldwide is not good either.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's bad.
I mean, at least that's better than I think the projections were for it.
Mhm.
Was
week
it? I
ago,
thought
so-
projections. I thought projections were. Well, I mean, I thought projections for domestic was 27 to 30. I can't remember off the top of my head. I could be wrong.
I'm going to stick my neck out here.
Do it.
I think it might do okay internationally because of the regard we have for the Cobra Kai guy.
Oh, right on.
Because it looks like he's genuinely pleased just to be there. Do you know what I mean? So
Right on.
I mean, the only
Yeah.
problem I see with an international box office is, again, there's a lot of like Latin jokes and whatnot that an international audience wouldn't understand.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the CGI and stuff, like there's no spectacle to at least justify seeing it on a big screen, like Avatar, right? Avatar's is
okay.
the whole big thing about it is that it looks beautiful, right? But
Mhm.
in this, the CG is just really amateur, and you've seen it done better. So there's really no there's no genuinely good reason to pay for a ticket to go see this. There's nothing that justifies a
okay.
theater visit.
Stream killer then, yes. Okay. We'll move on.
No, we won't.
Well, this one, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pleased that it did better than Barbie because
I will say it's
terrible.
a slow news week, folks. I do apologize.
It is,
August,
though.
traditionally slow. Sorry,
It
Kathy.
is, yeah. No, I agree with you. August is usually slow in terms of entertainment news, and then with the strike going on, it doesn't make things better. So I totally understand, and plus I understand you pulling this up. I'm glad that it beat Barbie because Barbie people that love Barbie are so freaking annoying and obnoxious.
Vex loves Barbie, yes.
Yeah, well, Vex mean you got to talk later, but this.
Don't make me say the C word, Brown. Come on.
No,
But-
please don't. No.
But Blue Beetle is a better movie
Sorry,
in my
Franco.
opinion because I hated Barbie. Barbie
Yeah.
fucking sucks. So
I'm gonna agree with you there as well. I think they both are shit, but Barbie actually broke me. Like Barbie just
Yeah.
enrages me thinking
Oh.
about it. So
I'm in the same boat. I get
Yes.
angry when I talk
Price,
about
did you see Barbie?
Of course, I saw Barbie and Blue Beetle, and really, I have to admit that I like Blue Beetle better than Barbie. It's really I didn't like Blue Beetle, but I guess I liked Barbie less than what I didn't like Blue Beetle.
Barbie.
exactly, which is that doesn't say much for either film. How you think about it, unfortunately.
Right on.
I think there's more talent on display in Barbie. Barbie is there's more talent in filmography and in technique
Agreed.
and craft. And
Agreed. Yes.
all the rest of that. I mean, it
Yes.
undermines itself for its various hypocritical messaging points, but in terms of the way it's constructed and put together, it's a much better film. But I would probably agree. I think I found Blue Beetle less overtly irritating. But then I'm not a woman, so
What is a woman?
well, who knows? Maybe I am.
Does anybody know what a woman is?
Sometimes I do wonder.
Okay, so shall we try and move on?
Let's
Yeah,
hope.
let's
We
do
We've
it.
can
we've
try.
kind of put the Blue Beetle.
You know what? Let's
to,
not do it. Let's not move on. Let's just continue.
Should we go back then?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's do
so,
Blue Beetle some more.
Blue Beetle opens. Okay.
On that, so it's finally moved Barbie off. But I mean, how long has Barbie been out for now?
I think
Almost
this was
a
month?
Yeah, I thought this was week 4.
So Barbie's in week 4, and Blue Beetle's first opening weekend is what, $3 million above? So that's pretty
Oh,
dramatic difference.
Barbie's just going to keep going and going, though, isn't it?
Mm.
I think we're seeing actually Oppenheimer is on the up and up instead.
It is doing very,
this
very
week.
well.
Yeah.
Super chat, if I may, folks. Here you go.
Oh my
Garth
goodness.
Knight. Kathy, do you want to read
Oh
that,
my-
mate? I think that's for you.
yeah. Garth Knight. I don't know. All right, for $5.99, All right, Caddy, you've dwarfed my intimate exploits. You can put me 6 feet under if you've enchanted an East Indian woman into your sheets. Garth, I have not. That's I know. I'm sorry. I have not. But if I was single, I would try my hardest. But I have not. Sorry.
Catty, question for Catty then. Back in the day, were you a player?
I mean, I tried my hardest. I have. I mean, my body count is not as high. It does not go past. It does not go past 10. But you know, I mean,
but it's the quality. Is what
yeah, I was a charm. Listen, I'm not a very masculine man. I know it's hard to imagine me not masculine,
yes.
but I had to charm bitches with my personality, so I did. You know, people find me funny, so you know, I'm just like
it's funny.
Like,
it's humor.
Yeah, so you know, I talk them up and then be like, hey, I got something to show you. It's my dick, and so yeah.
Let me just write that down, Bevan. What do I have to say? Okay, right, okay. Barbie's just, as I said, Barbie's just going to keep going and going for ages, isn't it?
Like a woman.
It's definitely going to start tapering off, and right about now, I think so too. Yeah, a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide, then. Yep. Okay, so Barbie has earned. This is domestic for the States. $537.5 million. Wow. Making it Warner Brothers' biggest film ever, dethroning The Dark Knight. What do you think of that?
I thought
is that adjusted for inflation?
Probably not.
Because it's convenient for them not to, I would imagine.
I want to weigh in on this. The thing is that Dark Knight was really a good movie, whereas Barbie, in my opinion, it's a lot of marketing. It's the brand name. It's the fact that they never made a movie like that, and so many women collected those dolls when they grew up, and it's an internationally recognized brand that for the first time somebody did something. So all of that created sort of this pop culture moment where all these, especially women, went to go see it and then went to go see it again. But I don't know that this is something sustainable. I really hope that Hollywood doesn't learn the wrong lesson from this, because in my opinion it's more of an anomaly and not really
They will. Sorry, I cut you off. Here you go, Melvin Deeply, and that is why the film industry is spooked.
Yep. I mean, it makes Barbie more analogous to Super Mario than almost any other kind of film. I think that there are a number of similarities in the reason for their success. Neither film was particularly, if at all, heavy on anything you might call story, or even character, or any of the things that you normally look for in a film. Mario was less offensive because Mario played it much safer than Barbie did in terms of messaging. But nevertheless, the fact is, these are both, as Bryce Reason said, both very, 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 very well-established, almost uniquely well-established brands. Everyone has heard of them. Almost everyone has played with one or the other or both of them. You can't replicate that very easily. And also, unless you're going to actually start adding story to it or actually turn these people into characters on the screen that people can invest in, there's going to be probably diminishing returns the next time you do it and then the next time again. That's not going to stop Mattel from saying, hey, how about we say Polly Pocket can tell us about Citizens for Fair Admission v. Harvard, for example. That would be fun. So that, I'm sure, is something we will see, but I don't think it will do anything like as well.
I had a question and then it's gone. Sorry.
I'm bummed that it beat The Dark Knight. I'm not gonna lie, because I love that movie and I hate Barbie. So, and again, Barbie fans are so obnoxious. It's like ridiculous.
Oh.
But I hope it doesn't beat Mario, because Mario fans are crazy and they will fucking come after these people and Barbie. And I'm just like, but at the same time, I want it to, just so I can see what happens, because Twitter is going to be fun. You know what I'm saying?
Vex.
Yes. Oh, yes. I had a question. Do we know how much Warner Brothers spent on marketing for Barbie yet? Is that number out?
I don't know, but they did a pretty fucking good job.
Because I was going to say, if it weren't for the insane amount of marketing that they did for this, I don't think this movie would have performed nearly as well. There was Barbie makeup, Barbie clotheslines. There were dedicated brands that had Barbie shoe lines. There were whole new dolls that came out. Like it went, even Forza Horizon on Xbox had Barbie cars that you could download to race in game. So, I mean, I want to know how much they spent on marketing, because that is right there is really unsustainable.
I think I've heard rumors it was around $150 million.
It has to be.
I believe that.
The marketing department are the real stars of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then
Yes.
also it's not just Warner because Mattel has a significant stake in this as well. So
Yeah.
like a lot of this is going to be free marketing, and there's an immense amount of sort of free mimetic marketing just by virtue of the Barbenheimer thing taking
Nice.
off. They didn't have to pay for very much of that. That just took off on its own. They were happy with it, but it was less expensive than otherwise it would have been.
Kat, are you available for super chat, mate?
I'm always available for super chat. Okay, so from Matt I, or is that Matt 1 for $1.99 cheap? Hey Matt Cat, can we get a D-pic reveal? You know what, Matt? First off, you're a little cutie patootie, I'll tell you that. Look at that cute face. No, nobody wants to see that nasty. Nobody wants, as my mother would say, that's nasty. Listen, that's nasty, filthy, dirty. Nobody wants to see that nonsense. So no, you may not. You may not. It's gonna be like Platoon. It's gonna cost thousands of dollars.
So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Do you want to move on from this?
Yeah.
Are we actually going to?
Yes.
Pass. Okay. TSG has filed a different story. Everybody. TSG has filed a lawsuit against Disney because the studio uses nearly every trick in the Hollywood accounting book to hoard hundreds of millions in profits. TSG has been a financier for various movies, including Avatar, Banshees of Inisherin. Who'd have thought Disney up to no good?
I would have thought. They
He was being sarcastic, Maddie.
Oh. Sorry. I've been drinking. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. This doesn't surprise me. There's a story about the woman that plays the nun in those those movies, and she's suing because they've been hiding profits for merchandising. So this doesn't surprise me at all. And I hope they get every penny out of these assholes. They deserve what they get. And yeah, and these people are putting up their money to sponsor to fund these movies, so they should get their investment back.
Did the Nun have merchandising? Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it did. You'd be
Unbelievable,
surprised.
yeah.
They have action figures, dolls, Funko Pops, all that good stuff.
I think the
The
Catholic
Nun.
Church already has all of those. So I'm sure it's not just.
Could you get the Pope Funko Pop? Sorry, Funko.
Maybe
Funko
I don't.
Funko
I'm
Pop.
looking it up right now, and if there
That's
is
a
one, I'm
thinking
gonna
man's
buy
joke,
it.
everybody. You're welcome.
I was gonna say every Halloween, all of the costume stores are filled with the nun like props and costumes as well, like the actual branded ones.
Yeah, and you can buy a Pope Funko Pop, by the way. Yeah, and she's suing because they used her likeness, and because she doesn't need prosthetics and stuff. So, I mean, and for this, I just go, I really hope they get their money because people that finance movies, they put a lot into it, and they're.
I have a theory here. It may be good or bad. First of all, this is very common in Hollywood and with these studios that they kind of move around the numbers and don't always pay. You see a lot of times some Sylvester Stallone, it turns out that for 20 years somebody didn't pay him for some movie that he was owed something. You see this pop up from time to time. But what I think is that sometimes these type of lawsuits pop up when the chips are down, meaning Disney now isn't in a good situation. Their movies aren't making money, so whoever invested aren't getting money either. And maybe Disney now are paying even less. So all these people wake up and they're thinking, well, maybe now is the time to go after them. If let's say they just released Avengers and Avengers Endgame and they paid a bunch of money to somebody or some investor, maybe he's not thinking about every single dollar or cent, or maybe he's just generally happy. But once you just see loss after loss, suddenly people are asking questions.
Right, okay.
That's what I think, at least.
Hmm.
Because let's face it, they've had some. Other than was it Guardians of the Galaxy, has everything just bombed big time?
Most of it. And I think that's a good theory as well, because lots of people will, and I think justifiably, focus on the Disney angle for this, because everybody likes to think, and not without cause, that Disney is always up to no good. But it's not just a Disney question. It can just be that these films are losing a lot of money and the financiers are getting antsy about it, and they are effectively trying to discover and in a desperate bid to get a bit more money out of Disney, trying to find something that they may or may not be hiding under their sofa cushion. But even if they are hiding money on the sofa, it's not going to be very much, given that how much most of their films are losing these days. Even Guardians, which was a success, was a very qualified success. It wasn't a huge amount of money.
800 plus, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah.
Here you go, folks. R2, the TSG lawsuit is a dinner bell for other financiers to start their own investigations and bring their own suits. This will not end well for Disney. Oh dear.
It won't, but it's also these are the financiers, so Disney is not going to be going out of its way to upset them. These are the last people you'd want to be hiding money from, in a sense, because they are the people who gave you the money to begin with. So it won't end well for Disney either way. Whether or not Disney's actually been doing what they've accused of been doing is a different question. But it's not going to go well, whichever the outcome happens to be.
Vex, anything to add?
No, I just hope Disney gets its comeuppance. I mean, of all the studios, this is the one that makes sense because look at their budgets and look at everyone else's budgets for either similar quality or lower quality like productions. So I'm interested to see what happens, but I do hope they get their comeuppance.
Has Disney become a very dirty company?
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Through their own fault?
Yeah, aside from those
external reasons.
Filthy, dirty.
Their own fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a shame because Disney were a decent family company.
It was easier to ignore the evil up until 10 years ago, we'll say. And then
here you go, aftermath. Mickey's got his legs broke. Oh dear.
I actually I just to think about it, I don't think I've heard anyone except for like those really, really, really hardcore adult Disney fans say anything positive about the Disney brand in the last year or two. Now that I think about it, like even the movies that like say Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I don't hear anyone kind of like jumping out to say, "Oh, it was awesome! Like you should go see it." They're just kind of like meh.
Yeah. Here you go, Jeffrey Spinner for here we go. Remember 27. This is where we need billion Q1 2024 payments to Comcast for Hulu stake. Disney's done.
I wonder what
I think they'll find that. I don't think that will be. I mean, it's not ideal for them, but I don't think. I mean, I could be proven wrong, but I would be surprised if this turns out to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. All the cliches coming out today because I'm tired. I think Disney will be able to stump up that cash reasonably well. It will just hasten other plans that they might have to downsize in other departments, sell off other studios, and change subscription rates on Disney Plus in a desperate bid to make it profitable.
Okay. Anything else to add?
Yeah,
Price?
I want to say that I tend to agree with Little Platoon that as much as we see all this stuff and we think, okay, well, now Disney is in trouble, they're a very big company and they have a lot of assets, and whether they sell stuff to Apple or unload some of ESPN to different partners, they have a lot to work with where they can make up capital or even save themselves. So I don't foresee them just tomorrow just falling apart, but I will say that they're not doing as well as they have been for several years. This isn't exactly their golden era, and they've done a lot of stupid things, and they are losing money, but I would stop short of saying that this is the end of Disney in 5 minutes.
Too big to fail then, guys and girls.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
I think even some of their big, because they are under that huge umbrella. You're 100% right. But even a lot of the other big things under that umbrella haven't been doing very well. Because not Fox. Which news broadcasting thing is under Disney? Is it NBC
Discovery?
or ABC? Discovery.
Oh,
No, news.
ABC.
It might be ABC.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sure
say
it's
ABC.
ABC.
Yeah, nobody's gonna get upset if you're wrong.
Yeah, but and ESPN hasn't been doing very well. Like everything under the Disney umbrella hasn't been doing well, but you're right, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's still going to be a slow thing because they do have their hands in in so many pockets.
Okay. Super chat, if I may, from Garth Knight for $5. If I'm not mistaken, Disney has had moments in time where they were on the skids. Eisner saved them then. I'll start again. Eisner saved then nearly tanked the company in the 90s, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think, is he talking about the Little Mermaid thing in 1989, 1990, or?
I think there was a golden run, wasn't there, in the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s they did
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure Disney will never disappear. So let's move on. Indiana Jones and the Dog Shit of Destiny and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 are on pace to lose nearly 100 million each in their theatrical runs.
This is false, by the way, this statement.
Well, it's the internet. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah, screen time sucks.
That's my get out clause. What's false about the statement?
Basically, Mission Impossible may lose $100 million, but Indiana Jones is going to lose at least 200, in my opinion, if not more. And they're trying to sort of tie the two issues together as if, they're both very unlucky, where I don't think they're both unlucky in the same way. First of all, Mission Impossible made more money than Indiana Jones, and maybe it had some bad luck with Barbenheimer and a lot of stuff that's going on.
It was
But
timing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, undeniably they're going to lose money, but I think when it comes to on demand, there's more demand to see Mission Impossible on demand. I think as part of a franchise, this installment is going to be viewed on streaming. I think that it still has some kind of life to it, whereas I don't know who's going to want to watch Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I really don't.
I didn't want to watch it when I went to the cinema for the first time. And still found myself there.
That's so true.
Mission Impossible has the advantage. It definitely has life because obviously it's part one, which is arguably its disadvantage when it comes to the first release, because automatically you've got a lot of people thinking, do I really want to put that much time and effort into something which is incomplete from the off? But it does mean it has a revival when part two comes out and lots of people go back to catch it on streaming to, make sure that they are up to speed with things. I think largely the reason it loses a bit of money, it's partly the Barbenheimer thing, as has been mentioned, but it's also the fact that the film just wasn't very good, and unfortunately that has an impact on these things. Indiana Jones was much worse and will therefore lose more money, but I think Mission Impossible, if it had been a better film, would have performed better as well, even
I think
omitting the rest.
It was a victim of the COVID, wasn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, and a question, why don't they just do what Universal does? Because Universal, what they do is they take their movies, they have a 14-day theatrical window, then they put it on PVOD where you can pay to rent it or buy it, and then they keep it in theaters. And I'm just going to use Puss in Boots as an example. Puss in Boots stayed in the top 10 even though it was already on PVOD. It stayed in the top 10 for weeks after.
It was a good film, though.
Yeah, it was. That's true. And then it's stayed in the theater even after it went on to streaming, and people still went and seen it in theaters. So I don't understand why they would just end their theatrical run when they could possibly still make money in the theater. I understand if they need the space or whatnot for movies coming out, although I don't know what's coming out that they could replace it with. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Sorry.
I have to say that while I wouldn't say that it's the best Mission Impossible installment, I think Fallout was better. But
Agreed.
I didn't hate it. I thought that maybe it's because I had seen Indiana Jones. That was the movie I saw before. For me, the Mission Impossible was a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm not saying it needs to win 70 awards, but it was a very fun action movie to see in the theater for me.
Has everybody seen Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really that bad? Because I refuse to watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't do it. Yeah,
it really is
worse.
that bad.
Whatever you're imagining, in my opinion, it's worse.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Everybody saw Mission then, yes?
Not yet, no.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a shame Indiana Jones should have done 800, 900
Yeah, but
we're just so far down the track of utter bollocks that everybody had just checked out before everybody just knew it was bad.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad idea just on its face. Even without the actual bad execution, if you were pitching this to a general audience and saying, hey, we've got 80-year-old Harrison Ford alongside Phoebe Waller-Bridge for a sequel to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I think like most people in their right mind would say, no, thank you. And indeed, most people did say that even before going to see it.
Right.
I think with Crystal Skull, they probably just about got away with it, if you know what I mean.
Barely.
Just.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
Skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
They did have one route that they could have gone. If they would have taken, let's say, I know they can't take Shia LaBeouf because of his issues, but to have the Indiana Jones son and maybe Short Round in a movie that maybe they're
Oscar
in
winner.
trouble, and they sort of bring him in as sort of a supporting character, just kind of a passing of the torch, but one that's respectful and also includes him in a respectful way. Maybe they could have gotten away with that. But whatever they did with Phoebe Waller-Bridge in this, they couldn't have gotten away with it.
Insufferable. Here you go, Nix at Mr. Brown Lines. That's me. You haven't seen any of the open brackets, only 3 that exist, close brackets, Indiana Jones. How dare you? I've seen the 4 movies, yes. I refuse to watch this one.
This one
Blue
does
Beetle
make
is
Crystal Skull look quite good by comparison, which is another staggering achievement.
and in all honesty, Blue Beetle is more worth watching than Indiana Jones 5.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I may be in the minority, but I don't mind Crystal Skull. But I'm into all that kind of Crystal Skull sci-fi shit.
I like it up until the monkey vine swinging
jungle
thing. Yeah,
that is a problem.
That was really weird. And
Yeah,
I didn't like the alien part either, but I did think it was interesting how they made the Russians the bad guy instead of the German Nazis. I thought that was a good idea. The ending is the part that really I was like, I'm not really into this. Once you go Close Encounters of the Third Kind at the end, it just gets into a weird movie.
Oh, I don't think Crystal Skull and Close Encounters deserve to be mentioned in the same breath. And I'm sure the Megan people would agree with me on that one.
I'm sorry. That's the only sci-fi movie that came off the top of my head. I apologize.
Iceman, in the bin, Mr. Brown. Yes, I'm in the bin. Well, I live in the bin anyway. Okay. So, shall we move on from...
Yeah. Ugh.
This is the poo-poo that refuses to flush, isn't it? Branding experts warn Rachel Zegler backlash could ruin Disney's big-budget Snow White remake and predicts executives will have crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of the 2024 release. So, how can they win back fans? Anybody got an idea?
Scrap the whole movie. The
I
movie's
agree.
unnecessary.
I agree.
Just as a tax loss.
Yeah, just like this whole rewriting aside, where it's like she's not falling in love, like that aside, we all have been tainted, unfortunately, by this trend of Disney remakes. So I think this, especially since we know where automatically Hollywood is going to go with it, just scrap the whole movie. It's not necessary.
I agree.
Mm.
And they have,
if anything, that will. Sorry.
No,
that
you
will,
go. No.
Yeah, I was just anything that will restore a little faith in Disney if they chose to do that.
I agree, and make back some of that money. Give to those financiers and stuff. Yeah.
Here you go, folks. Fat Joe. Oh, sorry, chat moved up. Bear with me. Here you go. Fat Joe 460. Release it. Need something to laugh at.
The Marvels will be out, so you can do that instead.
Do both. I'm going to be doing both.
You're
I don't
going
know.
to be viewing it, aren't you, Lord?
I
Yes.
probably will. I wonder with this one, though. I reckon even without all of this stuff that's come to light, and very few of these are new quotes anyway, they're all old stories, but no one's got anything else to talk about. I don't think this film would have done particularly well, even without Rachel Zegler going around trying to make herself the most insufferable woman since women were invented by Jennifer Lawrence way back in the year zero. I just don't think it would be I mean, what has actually been the record of all these Disney remakes, as Vex was saying? I think if you look at the box office, I'd need to get the figures up. I'm pretty sure it's a decline, pretty consistent decline from, say, The Lion King down to The Little Mermaid. People are not interested in seeing these things again. And even without Rachel Zegler there, I don't think this film would have done particularly well. And now... But then it sort of feeds into the same question, though, which is that actually, of the people who were already going to go and see this film, how many of them actually disagree with Rachel Zegler? And I kind of wonder whether there's a kind of a slight Barbie effect in the sense that these comments are not going to offend the only people who were ever likely to see the film to begin with, because they will basically agree. They always assumed it was going to be a slightly feministic retelling, and so it's not upsetting them too much.
You go, Phantom Outsider, pull this woke remake and re-release the animated original in theaters. They'd make money and build some goodwill, but they won't.
Or change it at the last minute and cast Rachel Zegler as the villain in this film, given that that's the character she already embodies.
Cosmic Castaway, the Lord needs to give Snow White the Peter Pan treatment.
I shall do my best.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But then YouTube will just block him every 5 seconds.
Oh, no.
Oh,
God.
Indeed. Shall we move on? Because this... Oh.
Well, I will have to say, though, when they do when this strike is finally over, this Zegler girl needs to get out there and start sucking some D to win fans back, because I'll tell you right now, she's really... Her and Gal Gadot. Why does Gal Gadot every 5 seconds say, she's not going to be saved by the prince? Like, oh, shut up, Gal. Nobody needs your fucking help. You're ruining everything. And then this girl, I don't know if she likes Snow White, but then she talks about how she went on the ride a bunch of times, and then she's like, the ride scared me, and I hate Snow White now. It's very weird.
In response to that, if I may, there's a couple theories floating around as to why she was able to go out and say this. The first is talking points that were given to her, which would be no surprise. These are actors, after all. Do they really have original thoughts?
That's a good point.
And then second of all is maybe they're just kind of letting this go through because this will help them inevitably sell off Disney stock at pennies to make back some money. Like they're willing to take the damage control if in the long run it financially suits them as a company.
Lower your stock price to make money.
Pretty much, yeah. So it'll just sell off. I don't know how much.
You're a financial guy, Platoon. Would that work?
I don't think it would. And again, almost any plan like that requires some degree of competent planning by the people on top falls apart because very few people on top are actually competent. And also, like, if you watch her in the interviews, a number of times these are like off the wall questions from journalists, and she is answering them pretty much. She seems unscripted when she's doing it. They do seem to be her natural, in the moment, spur of the moment thoughts. She doesn't come across as though she's reading from a script. I just think it is the classic case of a young, very privileged woman who doesn't really understand her own place in the world, what made the thing successful, or how other people respond to her baffling lack of self-awareness. So I think it's probably all quite sincere, and that's what makes it so funny and also so tragic.
Is she like a younger Meghan Markle?
Kind of, yes. There's a similarity.
Young Brie Larson.
Or young Brie Larson, yeah.
Well, is that a personal attack?
I think that when Gal Gadot says all that stuff, she seems not as malicious about it. It just seems like she's just saying whatever.
Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, we know that she's also a very left-leaning woman anyways, and she has not been the smartest in previous shticks before. So the whole Gal Gadot angle, that doesn't really surprise me because I've noticed people are starting to hop on that the last few days, but she's an equal idiot, so...
Yeah, I think there's a difference
not as
between
annoying.
Her... No, she's definitely not as annoying. But I think there's also a difference between Gal Gadot describing, because what she the line when she's the one who says that Snow White's not going to be saved by the prince, which is just describing the plot of the film they're creating.
Yes,
she's really just relaying that. That is a line that she's taking, and I think that was a conscious line that they gave her because she's a robot and can't think for herself. But it's the difference between that and the obvious glee and the imagination almost that Zegler applies to the same thing. Like she takes that on and just runs with it, and she seems more gleeful about it, whereas Gal Gadot is just describing the plot.
May I do some super chats?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Whale and Perceptors for $2. Has anyone here seen Django 1966?
No.
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 No,
I saw the Jamie Foxx one.
I haven't even
that one's
seen
a good
that.
one.
That one's a good one too. Yeah.
That's no. Peter Pidrak for $2. I need a VPN so I can send real money. Very good. That's a thinking man's joke. Well done, Peter. Garth Knights for $10. Is Tom Cruise's audience so old that they prefer streaming at home? I was looking at apartments the other day, and a senior centre had Top Gun and Back to the Future posters in the entertainment room.
I think the timing was just all it was for Mission Impossible.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah.
Which is a shame, really.
Yeah, it definitely would have
Yes.
done far better if it weren't for Barbie and Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer took all those IMAX
IMAX.
theaters
Yeah.
away from it
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
So it was 100% a timing. Would have done far better without those two
Yeah.
films.
And the average age of Tom Cruise's audience didn't stop Top Gun from being a massive cinematic success.
True. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Indeed. Shall we? Shall we sidestep because there's another Zegler?
Yeah.
Sure.
As I said, slow news week, everybody.
Yeah. Let's shit all over her. Oh,
Anybody
yes.
see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Catty, what's all this about then?
Well, first off, I love Gina Carano. She's a queen.
Who doesn't?
Yes. So Rachel Zegler, she put out this tweet saying like we should be kinder. And Gina Carano just put a meme up from Schitt's Creek that said "boop," and then it was because she was talking about her hypocrisy about how she had commented on her joke about pronouns and then sent her Zegler fans to attack her on Twitter, and I mean, she's just getting her comeuppance, and Gina Carano was right in calling her out for.
Didn't she also
her
say really
hypocrisy.
nasty things about Hawkeye as well? I can't remember the guy's
Yes.
name.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh
she
yes.
called
Really
him-
horrible things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think racist and a transphobe. That's how it should just do though. If you're one of these people, you just say, and by people I mean idiots. But you just call everybody a racist or a transphobe or a homophobe or
Racist.
yeah, any one of those, and it's a horrible argument.
The funny part about all this is because of all the backlash against Rachel right now, she's been like reposting like, oh, just everyone should love each other and all this stuff, and she had no problem kind of joining in on the brigade against Gina 3-4 years ago.
She would have been what, 18, 19?
Yeah, which is
Is that an excuse?
Nope.
no, I don't
Fair
think
enough.
so. I don't think age should discredit whether you're smart or stupid. It's a common sense thing, really. Especially when you're in this industry where the internet remembers everything. Like, why would you even? Why? Just why?
I think she's also immensely fortunate. Besides being an actress with an incredible amount of wealth at her name, she's also got she's got a good degree of natural assets, shall we call them? She's
yes.
almost certainly the kind of person who has never been told no in her life. It's the kind of behavior that normal, sensible, well-adjusted people are bullied out of when they're in school, and she didn't have anyone to bully her out of this bad behavior. So in a way, it's just the social media reaction to her now is kind of a lesson that she should have learned a long time ago. It's just being belatedly taught.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
She's probably not even learning the right lesson. She probably
no.
just logged out of her Twitter and just said, there's so many ists and phobes online. I have to
Yep.
take them all down.
And she'll just listen to all the people who clap and applaud her and say, yes, you're absolutely right. It's the sexist, racist people. That's what they are.
Here you go, folks. Bishop Moore's posted a link. Matt, did you know anything about this? Matt's video about this story.
Yeah,
Listen.
I did do a couple of videos about this story. Thank you, Bishop Moore. I appreciate you. Yeah, because I love Gina Carano and Rachel Zegler's annoying. So
I watched your latest one on this whole thing earlier
thank you.
today.
I
I really
appreciate
enjoyed
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did anybody see the? I think Zegler posted another Instagram video this week. Anybody see it?
No.
Is it the one that's been the old one that's been
Yeah,
recirculating?
the apology thing.
But it was an old apology.
It was an old apology, like 2 years old.
Is
Yeah.
she recycling her own apology, or just somebody else
I
recycled
don't-
it for?
I'll be
I
honest
think
with you, I
someone
didn't
just
check
took
it
it
out.
out of context. That's really all it is, to keep this drama mill going. That's all.
Is it the one where she said that she'd received death threats? Was it that one?
In the old apology, she did talk about death.
Ah,
threats.
right, okay, must
yeah.
be the old one then.
Yeah. Which I don't even, that one, I don't remember, I don't even know what that one was for, because she talked about, like, I get a chance to go to these far off places, and I'm all like, what the hell are you talking about? And
She's done 2 movies, so I was also confused what that was.
yeah, I'm all
about.
like,
Do you think she's self-destructing her movie career? Or
I
will
don't-
just Hollywood just lap it up? What do you think?
I don't know if her career is like, done
Or did
for.
she have one?
She did. I mean, she was getting jobs and everything, but like, this is the thing. Even if she hadn't said all this stuff, if you look at the set photos that have come out from this, and all of the, Peter Dinklage didn't
yes.
help it out. And then the set burned down. I think Fate has spoken, and it said this movie should not be released, and it doesn't look good anyways. And nobody wants this. Nobody's interested in this nonsense.
She's on a
Dark Knight, isn't
dramatic, very, very fast upward trajectory. So what was her first one? Was it West Side Story?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's got Snow White. She's in the Hunger Games thing, I think, isn't it?
She
Coming
is,
out
yeah.
She's in
later this
Shazam
year.
2.
she's in
Shazam. Cool. I
Shazam
always
2.
forget about that though, because it's Shazam
Yeah.
2, and like who the hell has time to remember that? But, like she's been on a very dramatic, very speedy upward trajectory, and I think a lot will depend on whether they do believe she's done serious financial harm to the Snow White film, and then how subsequent films like Hunger
it's
Games, for
dead as
example,
that.
perform. I think though that they have a really long established pattern of just circling the wagons around their own. They will probably agree with her if she comes out and does a proper kind of victimhood plea. Then they'll all circle around her and say yes, absolutely. Just like the Moses Ingram thing with Obi-Wan, it's like it's all the racist fans. It's nothing.
All
to do
right,
with
is
her
this
behavior.
going to be some car videos on the way then? Yeah.
I'm just waiting. Yeah, Simon Pegg's hostage video will come out. Everyone's being really mean to this woman who I've never met. She's the best thing since women.
I'm just wondering though, because a lot of people are comparing her to Brie Larson in terms of unlikability, and
I love Brie.
quiet down,
Sorry,
you.
somebody's got to, but I love Brie. But anyway, apart from the
But
feet, obviously.
like
The
she was.
cheese.
Sorry.
I love
No, the
cheese.
person.
Oh,
the
okay,
person.
never mind.
I don't like
Never
her
mind.
feet, but moving on. Vex,
Yeah, her
sorry.
feet are gross. Oh my god.
No, just because like Brie Larson was originally supposed to kind of lead the MCU forward, and I guess Disney execs kind of picked up on the fact like, oh, like nobody likes her. Like, do we really want to make her the face of the MCU? And her kind of doing her whole tirade in front of cameras and everything kind of killed her career. So I wouldn't say it's like. I wouldn't say it's unlikely, or it wouldn't be uncommon for the same thing to happen to Rachel.
I think Zegler is in a worse position than Brie Larson. Brie Larson, in my opinion, isn't necessarily the worst actress, but she doesn't have a very likable presence, and she's not right for a superhero. She can at least say that she did a few good acting roles and won an Oscar, even though I don't think they should have given her one. Rachel Zegler, what can she say? She was in West Side Story, a movie that flopped. Shazam 2, another movie that
film as
flopped.
well. Yeah.
She doesn't have a success to her name, Rachel Zegler. After the Snow White thing flops, she's going to be on the. I don't know if the CW even exists in the same format, but she's going to be on some TV show or something. I don't see her becoming some huge star, in my opinion.
I don't either.
OnlyFans. She'd do well on OnlyFans.
She would, yeah.
She would, yeah.
Is anyone
Let's
actually
move on.
interested in that Hunger Games thing, by the way? Because I never got into
No.
it because I'm a boy, but also I don't care. But is there a huge amount of anticipation? I saw an advert for it today before Blue Beetle. I'd forgotten it was even happening. But it has a title which is very Game of Thronesy, so of course
Didn't
Peter
even watch
Dinklage
any
is
of
in it.
those. Not interested.
Are
No,
you talking
no.
about the original films, or if we're excited about the new film?
Excited about the new one, the prequel, the first of them. What's it called? A Ballad of Ice and Fire. or
Songbirds.
something.
Songbirds and
Snakes.
Snakes. Yeah.
I didn't
No.
even like the original movies, so for me to show interest in this new one, that's really a stretch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the book sucked. So I
I
don't.
did. Thank you.
And it's just going to be a musical. There's so much singing in the book, and I'm just like, I don't, and they do the Star Wars thing where they have to explain everything that happened in the Hunger Games book. This is a prequel, so they have to explain every single thing that happened in those books, like where songs come from, where this comes from, and you're like, you don't have to do that. Just make it's not going to be good. And the book sucked, so the movie's going to suck. So,
but like it still has a huge fan. Like I know my
It
sister
does.
loves the Hunger Games books. I read the first 2 this summer because I was putting
I
together
like those
curriculum.
books.
I didn't enjoy it. I thought they were really fucking bland, and I thought that Battle Royale, the Japanese,
Oh my God,
manga,
There you go.
Yeah.
did it all the way
There you go.
better.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Secret
Battle
Thunder.
Royale is
Yeah,
awesome.
good.
I love Battle
Yeah,
Royale.
very good.
Not the second one though. The second one was not that good.
Not that
Okay.
good, right? But yeah, it's the title though comes from things that are present in the Hunger Games universe. So it sounds Games of Thrones game, whatever. But yeah, those are things that are present in the universe. So
Before we move on, I wonder if Gina Carano reached out to Elon Musk about being unfairly dismissed.
she did. And then I haven't heard anything, like I haven't seen anything pop up regarding that. He responded to her though. He did.
Fuck, I would love that. All right.
That was
I
amazing.
actually, sorry, go on.
No, go on, Price. Go on. Last comment.
When she did that post, I actually tried responding to her and sending her links to my videos that I did kind of an investigation a while back. The one that, the one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So basically, I was hoping she'd see it. I think it has some interesting evidence there, but I don't know if she'll ever look at it.
You probably need to go through Drunk 3PO, but anyway.
Mhm.
Do you remember?
He's actually seen those videos and he's complimented me on them along with Steph. So I had hoped that maybe meant that he'll
All right, we'll
show it to
prompt-
her, but
we'll prompt
I don't
him
know if he
again.
ever did.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Let's move on. I think we briefly mentioned this last week. Visual effects crews at Marvel have set dates to vote to unionize. That's tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, so votes taking place from tomorrow to September 11th. Ballots will be then counted on September 12th.
This could be the thing that actually kills the MCU. It's not superheroes.
Yeah.
The moment their VFX
union.
people actually, it's gone. Or at least we'll be down to maybe 2 films a year as opposed to however many projects are going on at the moment. Well, I think
maybe
good as well.
Yeah, maybe they'll start putting effort into actual scripts now with
yeah.
the VFX teams gone.
Yeah.
16, 17-hour days and being told you're not having weekends off until you get episode 10 out or whatever it is out.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I listen, I check up on a lot of scoopers online, and they talk about how, like, these visual effects people they'll literally, like, be, like, down to, like, where they have very little time to visually do visual effects on an end scene that they reshot, and they're like, and it looks like shit because they had no time because they didn't like the ending and they reshot it. And I'm all like, how can anybody work like this? It's like ridiculous.
Well, it's not working. It's slavery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, slavery if you get paid lots of
Modern
money and
day.
you can choose to leave. So in that sense,
Right.
no. But
I was gonna say, isn't this just going to push Disney to just outsource everything if like the
Yes.
domestic
India,
people?
yeah.
So does it? I mean, they're just kind. I mean, it's a lose-lose for
well,
VFX artists.
it might usually, yeah, invariably it is the case. Unions after a while will destroy the thing that they are trying to protect. But it depends because studios in Hollywood have really bizarre rules around union working, like rights to collective bargaining is in some cases enshrined. So you can't work for a studio unless you are part of a union, and you can't get to the union unless you've done work for the union first. And so it
Right.
depends as to whether like there's sufficiently strong contractual blockages to outsourcing to replace now newly unionized staff. I don't know if there would be. I think it will be a case by case thing as opposed to something that's a general truth. So it very much depends on what Disney's relationship with the law happens to be.
Hmm.
Here you go, folks. Black lives or black votes. Sorry, chat moved up. Slavery is normal for Disney. It is. May I do some super chats?
Do it.
Sure.
Wayland Perceptus for $2. 9/11 for the MCU.
9/11, too soon. Too soon.
Yowza. What, 22 years? Okay. Too soon.
Oh, no,
Too
it's
soon.
about
Too
September
soon.
11th, I think.
Yes.
That was the
Go for broke. $2. Hello, go for broke. Here you go, folks. Thank you very much. Garth Knights. Super generous. Garth Knight for $5. Wait, you mean nothing happened towards Elon funding Gina's lawsuits? How could that be? Actually, Doomcock never went out on that ledge in his defense.
Yeah, I don't remember just seeing any updates on that. That's all. If someone else has, by all means. But Elon's kind of shooting himself in the foot the last 2 days, anyways. So who knows if he's actually doing anything.
Yeah.
I can't see how that's. I think I said at the time when we covered it, I don't see how that's a workable offer. I wouldn't be surprised if we never heard anything more about this from him again. It's one of those things that sounds really good in his head, and it will get lots of publicity and attention. And then someone will sit down and say, "Hey, how do we make this work?" And he'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
Although it would be good if Gina.
Oh, it would be great to see.
That would be just incredible. But anyway, okay. Okay, we'll move on. So it wasn't Thanos that killed the ladies' peeps. It's the unions who killed. Anyway, let's move on.
Perfectly unionized, as all things should be.
Yes. Anybody see this? The new Ken doll.
I did.
So it's just a shame he doesn't look like Ryan Gosling. That's all.
Would you have bought that then?
Yeah, if it looked more like Ryan Gosling, 100%.
Would you have, though? This looks terrible.
No, I wouldn't have bought it anyways.
Terrible.
But it just because he's the reason why this look is iconic, right? So it would have made more sense if it looked like Ryan Gosling.
The toy somehow looks gayer.
It's not very politically correct.
I think Catty'd get away with wearing a coat like that.
I would wear a fur coat.
So would I.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm gonna pop some tags. What was the name of that guy? I love that song. Oh goodness. Yeah.
Didn't you guys say that Ken was a half decent part of
He was the
It's
best
only
part.
good part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't
he's
like him.
Oh well. You didn't like his singing? He can sing.
I didn't like his singing, and I also am not a huge fan of Ryan Gosling. I always feel like he's kind of overrated, in my opinion.
Well, normally he only makes 11 million at the box office with his movies. That's like a running joke and everything online. But I mean, Barbie, whatever. I hate this movie.
I would be depressed if I were him, because all these years he's been making all these movies, and at the end, this stupid Barbie thing, that's the highlight of his career now.
Right.
So he won't be remembered for, was it Crash or Blade Runner 2049 or?
He'll be remembered for The Notebook, to be
The
fair.
Notebook, because women like that. He's very sensitive there or something.
I just recently watched that. It's actually a charming movie.
I really hated it when it first came out, so maybe I need to
Me
rewatch
too.
it.
Me too. You should. I don't know. Maybe it's because when I first saw it, I wasn't married and I was single, and now that I'm married, I'm like, this is so cute. They're all in love and shit. Look at them dancing in the road. Super cute. Getting caught in the rain. Who doesn't love that, right?
Here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum. I actually love this. I would buy this.
And that's cool. I mean,
But
you
you
what are you gonna
can
do?
put your money where your mouth is.
Yes. Pre-order, Barbara. Treat yourself. You deserve it.
Yeah, treat yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So, shall we move on from the merchandise?
Yeah.
Yes.
When are we going to get one of you in that costume, Brown? When is your plushie coming out?
Brown, if you do a plushie, I will buy 2. No joke. I'm not lying.
Everybody does them, and I just think they've just become tacky now.
Oh man, Platoon, you should do one too. I would buy one of you also.
Make sure it has sunglasses that detach as well. If you do,
gosh, yeah.
That's going to be all the accessories, wine bottle with actual wine.
Do
in
it, no joke, and you should do it. I will buy like 3 of them. I'm not even lying.
Are you going to do a plushie then, Lord?
I don't know. I always assumed it would be the kind of thing that happens later on. I don't know.
Gosh,
Maybe one day is the answer to that question.
Well, let me know first so I can buy.
What about a little Platoon Funko Pop?
I
Oh.
don't.
God,
I
I
don't
would
understand any of these things, but if there's one of them in particular, I do not understand. It's Funko Pops. Like, what is the point? I don't get them.
I don't like them either,
Oh,
but
no.
if you made a Funko Pop Platoon, I would buy one. I would buy 3. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Okay. Right. Shall we move on from silliness? Here you go.
Yeah.
Background actor Nicole Cruiser
Yes.
says she felt pressure to agree to be digitally scanned for The Mandalorian. Before that, she was asked if she would be available for weeks of filming, but she never got the call back after she was scanned.
Sorry, what is a digitally in this? Because I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I didn't watch Mandalorian.
No, so the digitally scanned thing is to do with the rights to image and as it relates to AI. So at the moment, one of the actors' complaints is that studios will scan them for like their facial features so they can reuse their likeness later on without paying them. So I imagine that's what she's talking about here. Although, like, I always have limited sympathy with people who say, "Oh, I felt pressured to sign this thing that I was paid lots of money to sign," when they could just say no. Like, I have sympathy. I have a lot of sympathy with the argument. Like, we do need a much more robust rights protection program, and I think that people should be paid either a fixed sum or an ongoing sum for the likeness, but that should be settled obviously in the contract. But that you are still at liberty to say, "No, I'm not going to do this." And unless you do that, then there's not actually that much pressure on the company to try and offer you any more money for it. If you say, well, I didn't want to do it, but I just felt like I had to. No, just man up.
I completely agree with you. And as somebody that's been involved in some things with contracts and agreements and things like that, yes, you have to do this up front. If this was a main issue for her, then before she signs the agreement, she says, I'm willing to be a background actor. I'm not willing for you to scan and use my likeness forever. Or she could say that if you scanned my likeness and you're using it, every time you use it, you need to pay me X amount of money or something like that. But the fact that she said that she felt pressured, I mean, usually you go into these things with lawyers, with managers. I don't know what to say. I mean, I basically I'm agreeing with you.
I think we all do most of the time. So, okay. So, as you said, this is part of the reason why people are striking, isn't it, Lord? This is a very, very big thing with the AI at the moment, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's why you start to see more stories like this with various people coming out saying they were nebulously pressured into doing this thing that they really didn't want to do. It's all part of it. It's partly, and it's understandable. I know why they're doing it. I don't entirely disagree with the cause. It's just a bit sort of suspicious when all these types of stories come about at the same time there's a strike going on about this exact issue, because it's quite obviously political posturing as opposed to an actual disagreement. And the word pressured is an irritating one because it's so vague that it will appear in any time you want to slag anybody off. You say, I felt pressured by that person to do something, whether it's Lizzo pressuring you to eat bananas out of people's vaginas or like someone pressuring you to have your face scanned. No.
Are we going to see totally AI generated movies?
100%. It's almost inevitable at this point.
Are they going to be any good?
Nope.
Maybe. Depends on. Yeah.
She-Hulk.
I don't know.
That was bad.
It's going to be good.
Okay. Shall we move on then? Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Oppenheimer is the highest grossing movie of all time to never come number one at the domestic box office. It has gone over 700 million now, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Korea just got it this past week. I don't know about China yet, though. Did China get it?
I don't know.
I don't think they've got it yet. Although it will do very, very well in China.
Yep.
Purely because it's Japan, isn't it? And
it's Christopher Nolan as well. The Chinese
mortal enemies. Yeah.
And plus, there's a lot of asterisks around these the first movie ever to whatever. Like with Barbie, they're just like, the first movie directed by a woman, but only by a woman, not by a solo team woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And you're like, what's going on here? You guys just keep adding shit to make it the first movie ever.
It's like participation trophies. That's what this all sounds like.
and I'm just like, can't we just stick to the highest grossing movie, whatever, or all that stuff? But they always put these like the highest grossing movie of all time, never to come into number one. I'm like, at the domestic box office. And I'm all like, this is a lot of asterisks, in my opinion. But good for Oppenheimer.
We all saw Oppenheimer, didn't we?
I did not. I'm really bummed.
I saw it.
We all liked it, didn't we?
Yes.
You did.
It was a bit rushed in the sense that it had a lot of information and was trying to stick into a 3-hour movie. It almost felt like it could have been like an 8-part miniseries, but aside from that, I thought it was good.
Lord, you saw it, didn't you? Yeah.
No, I still have not had time. So that's going to be hopefully this week I might have time to see it. But yeah, it was supposed to be last week, didn't have time. And it was supposed to be the week before and I didn't have time either. So one day I'll finally get to see it. One day, hopefully.
I will say, I think the chat has died. We're not.
No, I sent a message in the private chat, so it's still running on my phone. StreamYards is having a chat problem, but it's still going.
We're not ignoring you, folks. We just can't see it in the StreamYards. Okay. So it's going to clear 1 billion, this, isn't it?
I think it will get at least very close after the China release. Yes.
Deserved?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I do think that Nolan is a good filmmaker. And I mean, when I talk to people about this movie, the only like negative thing that they say is that I've heard it's too long and that end explosion is not as good as it could be because I guess they use practical effects. But other than that, most people I talked to about this movie say it's really good. So,
Okay, so as we say every week, if you've not seen it, folks, it's worth 3 hours of your time. I think it is anyway, considering some of the shite we've had. Proper movie. Mm-hmm. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
As I said, slow news week. Michael Cera says he was a little depressed when Scott Pilgrim versus the World wrapped filming. He felt like this is my world, this is my group of friends, and hoped it was always going to be this way.
I would be very depressed as well if I was Michael Cera.
I hated Brie Larson in Scott Pilgrim.
What? Yeah, she was actually worth it in there.
Yeah, I think she did a good job with her singing. And I love when she's like, I love your boots, affordable. I love that line. Yeah, she was. I thought she was good in that movie.
I actually didn't love that movie.
What? Okay.
What?
Did you read the graphic? Oh, who did we lose?
Oh, I didn't mean to chase them away. I'm willing.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't like it. Fuck you. I'm leaving.
I'm willing to say that I liked it if he comes back.
They will. They'll come back over.
Did you read the graphic novels at all?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I really liked the graphic novel, so I thought the movie was a spot-on adaptation. They changed the ending. That's about it. But
yeah, I didn't read the graphic novels. I love that movie.
Yeah, I'm. How come you don't like it? Out of curiosity.
I saw it years ago, and I just saw it, and I thought that there was all this hype around it, and everybody kept saying how cool it is, and I watched it, and I just felt it was just all right. I didn't feel as excited about it. I don't know. It didn't connect with me in that way that a lot of people were enthusiastic about it.
I got you. That's fair.
Yeah, I feel you. Dog.
Isn't there a new anime coming out in end of the year on Netflix?
On Netflix in November. I'm very excited for that. They had a trailer come out this week as well, and it doesn't look like complete garbage, but that's what trailers are for, right? To make it look good.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I have a bit of a soft spot for Scott Pilgrim. I thought it was not a bad movie. It's a shame nobody else watched it, but there you go.
I mean, it was a good movie, but it's just unfortunate that Hollywood took the wrong message away from it, which is don't listen to the source material.
Yeah. Okay. It was Yeah, I liked it. Really stylized, just a fun movie. But anyway, okay. Are you back now, Lord? You popped off for a moment.
Yeah, I thought I'd try and refresh and see if it fixed the chat, and all it did was load all of the chats that had happened up until the point I refreshed, but chat is still not scrolling down on StreamYard, so StreamYard is bugged. But it is still functioning on your phone.
Yes, I just checked. Sorry, chat, we can't see you. It's just gone tits up. Sorry, folks. Okay, let's move on. So here we go. The Flash ends its theatrical run with, is that 268 million
It is,
worldwide?
man.
Budget 220.
Man. I'm pretty sure it's more than 220, their budget. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, once you add, obviously the usual one is marketing and distribution and all the rest of that, so the rule is like an extra 100 and 150 to that. So, I mean, it's lost money and it's well deserved.
Oh, see, go ahead.
I think there's a rumor that actually even the production budget was like $300 million, and I believe that rumor. I feel like 220 is underreporting, considering they kept on doing more reshoots and replacing Batmans and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, they should have just released it. What was it, 2 years ago? They should have just released it and tried to get their money back. Waiting was a bad choice.
Oh, they would have at least made more money, and Ezra Miller kind of shot any hope that this movie had as well. So
it's the same thing with Aquaman 2. I'm just like, just release it already. Like, they're talking about pushing it back. I'm like, no, I say push it up. Just release this shit and get it out of the way. Because I feel like with all of them, even Blue Beetle, like, to wait is just to lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the theory was that, Ezra Miller does one bad thing and they think, well, we can wait that out. People will forget about it and then we can release it. But then no, Ezra does another one.
Then he does like 50 in a row and you're like, ah, shit, we should have released it with the one bad thing.
And if you're going to wait for Ezra Miller to be a moral human being, then you just never release the film.
Ironically, I thought he was pretty good in this movie.
I agree.
He got better and better through the movie.
Yeah.
There is a couple of super chats which I can see. So shall we do them?
Yeah,
sure.
None of the other chats are working, folks. Princess Fiona for $2. It's business. There is always pressure. Garth Knights for $5. Catty, never used the notebook to bed a young woman.
Wrong. That's so wrong.
Was he taking these gals to Fast and Furious films?
No, I've only seen the first Fast and Furious movie, but bitches love The Notebook, okay? They love it. My wife, when we watched it, she was getting hot and heavy over that sweetness and everything, but they love The Notebook. I'm sorry, I disagree.
Are you including your wife in the category bitches?
No, she is a lady. She's a lady. I'm not saying bitches out of disrespect. I just don't know all their names individually.
No, so the collective noun for women is just bitches.
Yeah.
Well, according to She-Hulk, calling them females is disrespectful. What do you want from me? I'm trying here.
Anyway, okay, let's move on because still quite a few stories to get through. After claiming the reason he fired Henry Cavill was because of his age, James Gunn now says, I was never making a young Superman movie.
This is what I mean. James Gunn's just playing free ball. I don't think he knows what's going on, but he's just fucking with everyone to keep the hopes up. That I really think that's what's going on now.
It can be. I mean, I don't know with this one because I've not read the story. The only way around it I can see is that there's a difference between casting a younger Superman and making a young Superman movie. So maybe to give him as charitable a read as possible, he has seen people interpret the younger Superman as he's doing a young Superman, i.e. an origin story Superman movie. And that's the thing he's trying to dispel. He still wanted a younger man in the role, but that's not the same as doing a young Superman film. But might be me being overly charitable because he does seem to change his mind a lot.
How dare you be nice to James Gunn?
I think James Gunn is annoying, but I also think that he has a problem that some people don't fully understand. That David Zaslav guy, from what I've been told, is a very impulsive guy. And I think, he's trying to sort of appease him with these leftover movies. He's trying to put together his own vision, and Zaslav's not a very patient guy. And maybe some of the reason of getting rid of Cavill, Gadot, and Affleck was also a financial one. Maybe these new people that he's hiring, he's just paying them a few dollars. Maybe those other actors, they needed to get a whole lot more money for those movies, and Zaslav didn't want to pay for them. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying that I think there may be things that the public doesn't know about all of this.
Isn't there talk that he might keep Gal Gadot on for a Wonder Woman 3? But
That's not going to happen, apparently.
Is it now not going to happen?
Well, he's been very quiet about it, which I'm all like, oh, you'll talk about, a porn star being cast as Lex Luthor, but you won't talk about Gal Gadot being your Wonder Woman.
Wait, is that true?
He commented on that and he said something like, you can't think this is serious. And,
okay. So... I thought you were saying that. Oh, he was commenting on that being true.
No, a small piece of me wishes that were true because I'd be like, this has just gone into clown world. This is fucking ridiculous.
But then again, he did say The Flash was like a really good film. So either he's lying or he is in clown world. But there's no positive interpretation for that one.
He has no choice. I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to say, hey, this one's a lame duck. It's not really a good movie.
Yeah,
what's he supposed to say? Zaslav, whatever, probably has him. He's telling him, tell people that this is good. That you stand behind this because I don't want to lose all this money.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise said it was a good movie too. He said this is the movie we need right now.
Yes.
In the case of Tom Cruise, he never said it. It was like somebody that said that somebody talked to Tom Cruise, and per sources, they believe that Tom Cruise says. I don't remember ever seeing an interview that Tom Cruise himself admitted that he liked that movie.
I mean, Stephen King said it was a good movie.
Stephen King is batshit insane, though, so I don't think we can count him as anything.
Ezra Miller said it was a good movie.
Did he slap a woman after he said that?
And a child with a bullet in its mouth.
I think he said it while he was slapping the woman, didn't
he? Yes. Who was holding a child with a bullet in its mouth.
While strangling.
Price of Reason makes a good point, though. So
he does make a good point, yeah. I also think that James Gunn, I'm sorry, he's like a woman. He needs to shut the fuck up. He doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sorry, but like he just keeps talking, and he's just I'm sorry, but like when he was on Twitter and he was answering every asshole in Virginia's question about the DCU, I'm like, James Gunn, shut the hell up, because eventually you're gonna say something and then you're gonna have to backtrack, which is what he's doing now. And I'm just like, just stop talking to these people. You don't owe them anything. You don't need to give them answers until you start actually making movies. So stop talking.
Agreed. 100% agreed. All of these actors, directors, producers need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So, although I do like James Gunn, and I'm excited for his Superman movie, so I'm not gonna lie. So, we'll see.
There was that really overt James Gunn moment in Blue Beetle as well, wasn't there, with the Beetlemobile thing? And he's trying to press the buttons, and he turns on the radio, and obviously it plays an old rock song while it's doing. It's like, oh yeah, I can see what you're doing there. That's
even the.
I bet you James Gunn saw that movie, and at that moment he goes, "See, this guy gets it."
Yeah, even the scene where he like merges with the Blue Beetle suit. I don't remember that scene in Guardians 3, but I remember it happening almost in Guardians 2. I was like, oh, this is for sure a James Gunn film.
Yeah, now that Platoon mentioned that, it's so funny that's so true. But I actually like that scene, so I'm not gonna lie. In both movies, so.
Okay, any hopes do we think for Superman?
I have hope for it. I actually think it sounds good. So,
I'm sick of James Gunn. That's all.
Yeah, we got a Cavill one though.
Yeah, I would prefer.
Bass has just dangled that carrot in front of us.
Well, we'll always have Man of Steel.
And on that bombshell, let's move on. The energy is totally taken. You know when there's no interaction with the chats?
Yeah, I'm watching them though.
I've got them on my phone.
I've got them on my phone too, and I have.
Oh, chat! I miss you, chat. I miss you.
I miss you, chat.
Shitty StreamYards. Let's move on. Anybody see this?
Yeah.
There was a couple of slides for this, but I used this one. Titty Wah Titty says next Thor film. Apparently, it's been planned, isn't it? should aim at carrying on with the evolution of the character, but still in a very funny way. Why, they're going to destroy him some more?
Sorry, question. Because I haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder. I kind of refuse
Neither
to
have
see
I.
that movie at this point.
Same here.
Yeah,
Refuse to
don't
watch
see
it.
it.
Christian Bale's one of my favorite actors, so that
He's
should be a
great.
reason to see it. But everything else is a no. Does
That is
Jane
wasted.
die at the end of that movie?
She does.
Okay, so
She
we're
goes
not.
to heaven.
Okay, so we're definitely not going to see a female Thor come back if they
No,
do.
we
it.
could.
Ooh,
We
well, yeah, we could. And also, he finishes that film with a young girl.
What?
I'm sorry, what? Yeah.
Okay. I should probably put that in a less way to be interpreted Disney wise. The basic plot of that is Christian Bale's character has a daughter who dies, and he wants to go to I keep getting its name wrong. Is it Eternity?
Eternity, yeah.
And it is Eternity, which for some reason grants one wish that everyone knows about, but nobody's thought to use until this point. And he wishes that his daughter comes back to life, forgets to wish that he should live with his daughter. So now Thor has taken sort of custody of his daughter. Her name is Love. So that's where the title Love and Thunder comes from, because he is thunder and she is love. So he will. And that film ends, the last scene of that film is them running off to battle together, and does she have Stormbreaker or does she have Mjolnir? One of the two. So anyway, there is a chance that we have a female character wielding one or the other of Thor's weapons, at least.
Okay, a follow-up question then. With a girl named Love, is that comic book accurate, Maddie? Do you know?
No. If she's in the comic books, I haven't read that comic book. The thing about Thor: Love and Thunder is they took two different storylines and meshed them together, which I thought was a horrible choice. They've got the Jane Foster as the female Thor, which was its own storyline, and the best part about that one is trying to figure out who the female Thor was. But in this movie, they've kind of like just gave it away right off the bat. And then the Gore the God Butcher storyline, which is very good in the comic books, and they just ruined it completely in the movie because they wasted that character and that storyline. And then, but the daughter is, if she's in there, it's like in there right now, because I don't read those comic books right now because they're just all shit.
So then, third question: is the daughter a human, or is she like superhuman like Thor? So like we could possibly see her like as a fully grown adult in
I think
another.
she's superhuman, but in ill-defined ways.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I think she's got the power of eternity, because if you notice when she's
yes.
you didn't notice, but when she's brought to life, she's got like purple eyes, and she's kind of got this almost like she is eternity when she comes out of it. I'm not quite sure. They didn't explain it, obviously, because it was the end of the movie, but I really don't understand it, but that's what I thought while watching it, but it was so bad that I was just like, oh, who gives a shit?
I would rather that Chris Hemsworth, because I know he said that he would come back if they did the character justice, because I guess he acknowledged the backlash and just put that out there.
Don't do it, Chris.
Yeah, I'd rather he just leave the MCU and focus on becoming an action star. I think that's a good niche for him.
I agree,
So
and
do
I
I.
also think that Taika Waititi, because he's been all like, oh, we're gonna make this movie. This feels like how Rian Johnson keeps saying he's gonna make his Star Wars trilogy. I just go, listen, honey, it's not happening. Listen, you're not making your Thor 5 movie, so put that in your pipe and smoke it.
It's quite difficult to say Thor 5.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good. Nobody wants to see Thor as a dad. He looked like a bad father, in my opinion.
May I do a super chat, even though I can't put it on screen?
Yes,
Sure.
do it.
I'm winging it here, folks. Matt I, is it Matt 1? I love this price of, is it reason, guy? Or freedom?
Matt it's price of reason. Read.
Price of freedom, you put.
Yeah, that sounds like an inside joke.
I
Okay. let's
don't
move
quite
on.
know what you're saying.
Neither do I.
It's a compliment. I think.
I'll take it then. Thank you.
There is another one. This is very high tech. Sorry, folks. I'm boomering. Garth Nice for $5. So, me and Brownie go cycling 100 kilometers. wearing a codpiece while Catty's watching The Notebook with a gal who looks like Eva Longoria.
Yeah, even
Life
Longoria.
isn't
She's hot.
fair. Garth again for $5. This is very high tech. Sorry, folks.
Oh no, he said the same thing again twice.
Oh, so he's paid. I owe you $5, Garth. Okay, right. Shall we move on from this? I think we should.
Just a question.
Last point, then, yeah.
Yes, to the panel. Thor seems to be the only one that they are willingly kind of keeping around from that original Avengers lineup. Aside from what they did in Love and Thunder with Jane Foster, what's the reason for keeping this character around this long?
They want to humiliate him more.
Yeah, I
Brutal.
don't. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't. Maybe because Chris Hemsworth is such a likable person. I find him very charming, and he seems like a good guy. So maybe it's
Chris,
that.
don't do it.
But didn't he say he wanted to take a step back from acting because he found out about his he's got that gene where he can get Alzheimer's on both sides of his family.
Yeah, and then he came. Then a couple months later, it was like, oh, I'd come back for the right role. Then it was like, oh, I'll come back to Thor if they do the character justice. And now, yeah, here we are. So I don't know what's going on with
Chris,
him
don't
either.
do it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I say don't do it. Yeah,
I agree.
He doesn't need the money. Tell him to get out.
yeah. And if you're gonna do another movie, do an Extraction 3.
Yeah, just
do it.
go
Yeah.
do
Yes.
5 Extraction movies. Much rather see that.
Yeah, they're much better. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how many most people only like one Thor movie. So come on, let's just be honest with ourselves.
Agreed. Okay.
Agreed.
The Marvel's director, Nia, who's that?
Nina
Acosta?
DaCosta.
Reveals Kevin Feige lukewarm on her pitches for a sequel. Get this, folks. Says success of female-led driven films now depends on whether or not the movie's good.
Oh, what a dick! What a dickhole!
Imagine that.
You mean your movie has to make money for you to make a sequel? What an asshat! Ugh, so annoying.
You mean a movie has to be good to get a sequel? What a
Wow.
sexist! What
Yeah.
a misogynist!
What
Wow,
is the
that's-
world coming to?
That's out of the box thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, plus Nina DaCosta sucks. I'm sorry. Did anybody see that Candyman movie? What a piece of shit.
It was garbage.
Yeah,
I was shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's all like, oh, yeah, but the directing was really good and the visuals. And I'm like, wait, what are we talking about here? That movie sucked all the way around. The directing wasn't good. Story wasn't good. I'm sorry. The dark visuals, it was just shit. So I just go, this movie's going to be shit too. I have no hope for this
These
woman.
completely different tones. So I'm just wondering why she was even hired for this, aside from the fact that she's got a vagina.
And she's a woman of color.
Don't fucking say that term. You're better than that.
That's why they hired her. They're like,
Tick, tick,
this.
tick.
Yeah,
Brie
exactly.
looking good there.
I think Brie is good looking. So especially when she's not wearing a big bulky Miss Marvel costume. That first costume that she
Can't
wore
see her
was
feet as well, thank fuck.
her feet are gross. I wish I wouldn't have looked at her feet. They're
We told you not to.
You did, but as soon as you said it, I had to look. It's like the 2 Girls 1 Cup video. Everybody told you not to watch.
God.
And you went and looked it up, and then you wish you hadn't. It was her feet. You guys said not to do it, and I had to. And I wish I hadn't, because her feet are gross.
Is the Marvels going to be the flop of the year, or have we had it with Indie?
I think with all the DC movies we've had,
That's a good
hey, if you
point.
flop any harder than those, like if anything, I will be impressed then.
I think Indie is the biggest flop of the year, and it will be the biggest flop of the year.
Yeah.
What's
I
the
agree.
budget for the Marvels?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Because they did reshoots on this as
They've
well.
made it
right?
about 15 times, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. And they pushed it back 3
100
times as well.
Looks like 130 million.
Well, times that by about 3 of it.
Yeah, I don't see how this movie is gonna do good because like
No.
everybody I talk to, like, well, not everybody, but most of the people I talk to at work, they're not like big comic book people, and I'll just be like, hey, you gonna go see the Marvels? And they'll be like, what? What's the Marvels?
What?
And I'll be like, Captain Marvel, and they'll be like, who? Same thing with Blue Beetle. I was like, see Blue Beetle this weekend? And they're like, what? What's that? And so
Where is it? If you'd have said, are you going to see the new Iron Man movie? Bang.
They probably, maybe, I don't know. I'll have to ask them the next Iron Man movie that comes out.
Do we think it will outperform or underperform Ant-Man?
Underperform.
Underperform. I was gonna say,
Underperform.
Oof.
Dune's coming out the week before this.
Yes.
yeah, I'm excited
Yes.
for Dune.
So it has no chance at all.
I will say though that I'm sure that leading up to that release of the Marvels, they're going to push marketing for women and do the whole diverse ensemble and women. They're going to really lean hard in the marketing. Maybe they can get some people to watch it. I don't think it's going to be making $1 billion, but I think that it could make a few $100 million, maybe cover some of its budget. Maybe
that would be the hope. Well, Matt Cat's good at leaning on women. Maybe they should get tips.
Women of all kinds, apparently, as well. So.
Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have said anything.
This movie's a bomb hard. Even I'm not looking forward to this. Like the brown, what's her name? Kamala Khan, is that her name? I don't know.
Possibly.
This shallow brown representation thing it's insulting to me as a brown woman. So
I agree. I do like the actress though, that
I'm
Iman
brown.
Vellani.
I'm a brown man.
She's very charming. The actress
she is. I actually
yeah.
really enjoy her personality off camera, but it's very clear what the intention is by putting Kamala Khan in the Marvel universe, and that's what's more irritating than anything.
I like her slightly more fleshed out as a character than, is it Monica Rambeau? Who I couldn't tell you the first thing about that person. I have no idea who she is, what she is.
She was in
WandaVision for a bit.
But
like, in terms of about her character, I couldn't tell you a single thing.
Yeah.
I do want to say that both actresses that are not Brie Larson, the Teyonah Parris and Iman Vellani, I think the other one is called, I think that they're much more likable than Brie Larson. Just they have a more likable presence, both of them, in my opinion.
Right on. Yeah, I'm well, just the Paris girl. What's her name? Brianna Paris? Is that what?
Teyonah Parris.
She was in Candyman with Nina DaCosta, the director of Candyman. So I'm pretty sure that she's gonna be front and center for this movie instead of the Captain Marvel, who this movie should be about. No, this movie's gonna be bad. It's gonna.
She's not even the lead in her own movie. Poor Brie.
Plus, I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they're switching back and forth. You got a female villain that is ugly, and I don't know. It looks.
Tom
bad.
Hiddleston's missus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's Nick Fury, who, of course, has been profoundly shaped and altered by the events of Secret Invasion.
Right,
it's just that nobody actually saw it. So,
did anybody actually watch Secret Invasion?
I did. And let me just tell you right now, Secret Invasion, he was all depressed and shit. And in this, if you watch the trailer, he's like, my favorite, woman in space. And he's all happy and shit. And I'm all like, I don't know. You seem pretty depressed. You lost your friend, Maria Hill. The Skrulls are being hunted down on Earth by humans. I'm like, what do you have to be so happy about, fucker? This is all your fault. And, I'm like, it's so weird. Like, they don't even try to keep in continuity anymore. It's so stupid.
Okay, let's move on. Here we go. So, a movie's box office earnings could be hurt by around 15% without actors' promotional work due to the studios refusing to pay them fairly. When I saw that picture, I thought that was the Blue Beetle screening.
It probably
Pretty
was.
close to what mine looked like.
There's a surprising number of people in mine because I went earlier today. I guess it's because it was like a Sunday afternoon, so there were quite a few kids in. There were more people than I was expecting there to be. There were more than for Indiana Jones, for example. But I think this is probably one of those. It's another planted article. It's somebody very much sympathetic to the strike, saying, "Hey, by the way, the studios are being really unfair, and if they don't change their minds and their behavior, they'll lose loads of money." It might be true. I don't doubt that it is. It depends, though, on the film and the person doing the promotion. As we've already discussed, if it's Rachel Zegler doing your promotion, then you're probably going to lose more by having her actually doing it. So it very much depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we just skip over this one? I've got a few more stories too. I think we're
let's
running,
let's skip.
let's skip over this one. Okay, so next one. Rebel Moon. Are we excited?
Sinister
Yay,
chuckling
nay?
from Vex over there.
Zack Snyder, everybody. Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon.
The trailer comes out on Tuesday.
Supposed to be a Star Wars kind of rip-off.
I'll check it out, but I just mostly want to see what kind of shite Zack Snyder is going to push forward for us, and then what all of his fucking idiot drones are going to be like. This is amazing. This is the greatest cinema ever. Oh my god, please. I'm waiting for all that. That's all I'm.
Oh, that's me then. Sorry. Stream killer.
I know absolutely nothing about this. So, what's the premise and how much of it is in slow
think it's
motion?
similar to kind of a Star Wars type.
Apparently, Zack Snyder pitched a Star Wars idea, if I understood correctly, to Lucasfilm, and they didn't want his idea. So he went and sort of changed it around and pitched it to Netflix, and then they did want his idea, and then this is, I guess, the result of that. So it's sort of Zack Snyder's version of a Star Wars type of movie. Personally, I'm going to give it a fair chance when it comes out, but I don't really think one way or another about it at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way.
It'd be surprising if it was better than any Star Wars we've had from Disney. Other than kind of Rogue One, because Rogue One was passable.
I know.
It's Zack Snyder, though. Just remember that.
That is a good point. And the bar with Star Wars is set so low that is that really hard to be better? Yeah, is it really hard to be better?
Out, haven't we? So yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna check it out just because I am interested to see, what this is about. But I mean, I'll see the trailer on Tuesday, see if it's any good. But
it's coming out at the right time of year, though.
Fitting, wouldn't it? If the epigraph of Disney of Disney Star Wars is that Zack Snyder could have done it better. It's probably true, actually, given how shit it's been.
Well, I'll be coming back here Christmas week when we do the Christmas streams. Rebel Moon.
This
well,
will
there's
be
the
out,
other one.
What a film!
This will be out 2 days before Aquaman 2 as well.
I'd forgotten that was happening. Oh yeah.
Christmas Day is when Aquaman 2 is out.
Who's going to the cinema on Christmas Day?
I'm waving my hand right now. I'm waving my hand.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the only thing that's open that a whole family can go to. So Christmas Day cinemas are always packed over here.
Oh yeah, same thing with here.
Christmas Day, it's Boxing Day that we open, isn't it, Lord?
Yes.
Here.
Yeah. Well, here in America, Christmas Day is a huge day at the cinema. So
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which is surprising. I mean, my family never did it growing up, but for Aquaman, I'll be there opening it first showing.
Enjoy Aquaman then.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's gonna probably be bad, but I love Aquaman so much. He's my favorite character, so I can't not see it.
That's a proper Christmas present. Amber Turd on Christmas Day. Happy Christmas, everybody!
It's annoying because last Christmas I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna take a couple of weeks off because I deserve it. It's Christmas, it's a holiday, but then fucking Avatar comes out, and I watch it. And I think I can't not do a video on this.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to. I know Aquaman's gonna be the same. It's gonna be so mind-numbingly shite. And I'm gonna have to. Sorry, Mum, I can't come round for Christmas.
Just be like, I can't. I'm going to India. Just go to India for
I'll be going to India to watch.
India.
Yeah, I'll be going to India to watch Rebel Moon. Anyway,
my son will probably go with me because he's 5 and he doesn't know any better.
India at Christmas is very nice. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just pile through these last stories then.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is the other thing just on the Rebel Moon thing? There was another sci-fi thing that's coming out from is it Gareth Edwards who did Rogue One, which I saw an advert for today, which looks kind of interesting.
Yes.
The Creator.
Is that the robot? Yeah, the robot movie.
I'm looking forward to that. That actually looks
that looks good. Yeah, I agree.
That was the movie where they used the actual blast. Do you remember that Beirut shipping container port? That blew up?
Oh yeah.
That footage is in there?
Yes, and there's a lot of people not happy about it. It's in the trailer. Yeah, it's the actual. Do you remember the video of the blast wave?
Yeah, I do.
Look at the trailer and you'll see it. There is a lot of people thinking, no.
Well, then they should have taken better care of their shipping container.
Anyway. I think it was all. It was fertilizer, wasn't it? That went boom.
It was. Yeah.
Okay, a lot of it as well. Okay, let's move on.
That's interesting.
Transformers: Rise of the Beasts ends its theatrical run at the cinema. Lowest grossing movie of the franchise.
Wasn't this the one that had the not so subtle political messaging in it and the really Starfire looking main character or female character?
Don't know.
I only lasted 25 minutes into this film, so I don't know.
Again,
oh wow.
It wasn't good. It was bad.
Again,
I didn't like this movie.
Yeah. Price of Reason, why not? Tell us.
Well, the first 30 minutes was basically kind of the same type of identity politics type of thing. There's a guy who's Hispanic, but everything is bad, and him and his family are victims. Kind of, it reminded me a little of the things we were seeing in Blue Beetle, but somehow in that movie it may have been even worse, even more kind of malicious and sinister in its messaging.
Yeah, because every white person was like mean to them.
The movie, the first scene, and this is the first scene of the movie. The guy is in his kitchen. His mom walks up to him and she says, "You have a job interview tomorrow." And he says, "Yes." She says to him, "Make sure to laugh at the white people's jokes because white people like that kind of stuff."
Yeah, they
and
like
maybe
it when
they'll
they think
hire
you're
you.
funny. Yeah, they like it when they think you're funny.
And that's like the first 10 seconds of the movie. So I just sat in the theater and I thought to myself, it's probably not going to get better than.
Oh dear.
Why does not really have a sense of humor? Oh,
yeah.
Burn. Well done. And then doesn't he steal a rich guy's car and the excuse is the rich guy can just buy another car? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but he could also give lots more money to charity if he didn't have to buy himself a new fucking car.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This movie sucked. And plus they use the Maximals and they don't even use them like that much. They just did it so like people that love Beast Wars so much would go and see it. And me and my son watched Beast Wars the whole week before to bone up for this movie, and it was a waste. Well, it wasn't a waste of time, but we didn't need to because they barely were in the movie. It was stupid. I hate this movie.
My only question: there's a gorilla bot in this one, right?
Yeah.
Is
Optimus
it voiced
Primal?
Yeah.
Is it voiced by a black man?
No. Yes. I don't know.
I haven't got a clue.
I'm looking it up right now.
Does anyone care?
I just want to know if Hollywood is that not racist. That's
Gosh,
all.
how God. Is it sad that I want it to be so I
want it to be
racist?
May I do a super chat from the previous story? Obviously, we're having technical difficulties. Jonathan Frost for $5. Thank you, Jonathan. Rebel Moon is the exact same story told in Seven Samurai, The Magnificent Seven, and Battle Beyond the Stars, rehashed story.
Oh.
Oh, it's Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, Ron Perlman, but I don't think I've ever seen Battlefield Beyond the Stars.
Battle Beyond Stars is a great film. Okay. I didn't see this. I really like the Transformers movies, but again, it's just one of these movies that I just can't be arsed with anything new. Because you just know what you're going to get.
Yep.
I would rather have seen a Michael Bay Transformers movie if I was going to see one than an imitation.
Was the fight, because there was a pretty cool looking fight scene, at least in the trailer I remember. Was that fight scene, were the fight scenes any good, Matt?
Sorry, I was on mute. They were just Transformers fare. You know, they were good in terms of they were action packed, but at the same time, the overall movie just sucked. It sucked balls. Although my son did like it, but he's so funny because within the first 30 minutes or whatever, Bumblebee dies, and he was all like, I was like, he was like, they killed Bumblebee, and I was like, yeah, he's dead. And he's like, I don't like this movie anymore. I want to go home. And I was like, no, we paid good money, and I bought snacks. We're staying for this movie. I spent like $50. We're watching the rest of this movie.
Wow.
So
Okay. Shall we move on from this?
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, I think we put that
Yes.
one to bed. Okay, we'll quickly do the next one. Musk says X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, will be removing the block feature. What do we think to that, guys?
Won't happen.
yeah,
and apparently this is just because that people keep blocking advertisers is one of the theories I saw floating around, because they've really been pumping out the ads, but this doesn't make any sense.
I don't. Go ahead.
Quickly, I'll just say Elon Musk blocked James Woods. Is it James Wood? The actor?
Did he
Yeah.
actually?
He's been blocking. Apparently, well, I've seen loads
Which
of
I
people sharing
find
screenshots
amazing,
of them
yeah,
being
yeah.
blocked by Elon Musk
Yeah.
and how recently those things are. But
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised because his new, what's the woman gimp he's put in charge nominally of Twitter? Linda something or other.
Yeah,
Yakarino.
Linda Yakatunu, Yakabuzi.
Yaka
Let's
something
call
or
the
other.
whole thing off. Yeah.
She came out and qualified after, said Twitter takes people's safety, etc., very seriously, and will be looking at ways to further improve the platform while keeping these things in mind, which basically translates as we probably won't get rid of the block button. I think it would have been hilarious to watch, because there would have been this really lovely period when the block feature disappears and people either don't know that's happening yet, or they haven't remembered who they've blocked, so they haven't gone and muted them. And so, like, I can just be sitting there waiting for the day that Wikipedia has unblocked me, and I can suddenly go like throwing shit at them, and then they can mute me again. But that would have been fun to see, but I doubt it will happen.
Okay. Question: Vex, how many people have you blocked?
2, I think.
Price?
On Twitter,
Yeah.
I'd say that I haven't looked in a while. There's a handful. The thing is that I used to not block anybody, even if they blocked me, I didn't do anything.
Same here.
But then what happened was, and this is after my account there, my news account was getting shadow banned and I had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that the policy should be that if I find out that somebody blocked me, I have to immediately block them, because some of them continue to lurk and then report your account. So
Oh, right, okay.
at some point I shifted my policy and I did
Right.
actually start blocking back. And maybe in all of the years, maybe there's a few people, very, very rare occasions where I ended up actually blocking a person. It's not my default. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah, same
But
here.
people, just for example, and then I'll leave it alone. There was one guy that had like 10 different accounts. And I discovered that he was operating like 10 bot accounts. And anytime I would post, suddenly 10 people would come and get upset at something that I was saying. And
Ooh.
I discovered, because he made a mistake, that it was all him. So then I just blocked all of those accounts. And I feel okay about that.
Hmm.
Catty, I imagine your block list is massive.
And it includes you.
Oh, I think that he stepped away for a
right,
second,
okay.
something with his kid,
All right,
I think.
probably
Oh.
bedtime. Lord, I imagine you've got a massive list.
No, I have not blocked anyone that I'm aware of. I just mute them. But then that's partly because I haven't needed
Yes,
really to block
same
anyone.
here,
So.
same here.
You mean
Yeah.
you didn't block B.A. Turner back?
No. Why would I do that?
Yeah, the only 2 people I blocked are just people that went on to harass not only me but other like mutuals, and I just didn't want to see that on my timeline, so I blocked them.
I just mute them and move on. But but Twitter does. So there is an incentive structure to block people, and we've had one reason. Price of Reason gives it. That's one reason to actually use the block feature, is that people have prior to now and even now have been incentivized to use the tactics of sort of gang piling and mob rule and effectively try to mass report you. And in that situation, I think, yeah, definitely blocking is probably the only thing you can do to stop them. I've just been lucky that no one's tried to do that to me yet, that I'm aware of.
Well, you're a nice guy.
Well, maybe.
Sickening. Okay. Shall we move on then? So you think it's not going to happen then, Lord? Yeah.
I would be. They might change the name, but I don't think they'll remove the feature. They might keep block and find some way around it. So, like, you cannot block advertising accounts, for example, or there'll be a different account for advertising purposes than the corporate account. So you can't say block a company and thereby block all of its adverts. There'll be another way of doing it whilst keeping it either in name or by a different name in place.
The worst thing he did was calling it X. Stupid. Anyway, let's move on.
Well, I just like that he's rebranded everything, but I still go to twitter.com.
Yeah, it's a twit twat. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Hey, get in the bin. Shall we say put the StreamYard's chat in the bin this week?
Oh, agreed.
I think this one's going to be just you and I, Lord. Shall we try and keep the risque language to a minimum, if you know what I mean? You'll know straight away as soon as
I'm intrigued now.
Well, this was posted this week, and I just thought, oh dear. Are we ready, everybody? If you're in Britain, you'll totally get this. Apologies again, we can't interact with you on the chat. Probably a good thing, actually, with this. So this week's hashtag get in the bin.
Oh, I'm excited about this. Sorry.
Obviously, keep the kind of risque language to a minimum on this one.
Well, personally, I think that should get into the and so I can say whatever the hell I want about and the BBC, and so
Very
it's
good.
fine.
I just really want to know, is this going to be Netflix washed, or are they going to cover some of the stuff that came out the last couple of years? I'm really curious to see where this will go.
Apparently, I think there was about 4 people who were actual victims who they've got the stories from.
You know how deep it goes, though, right? Without having to say the words on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Ironically, it's ITV Studios that made this for the BBC. Ironically.
I'm excited because I just want to know how deep into the depravity they're going to go. But at the same time, I don't think someone like Jimmy Savile should be getting his own series whatsoever with what he's been accused of doing.
I think this is, I don't know if this is actually a TV series or just kind of a one-off, a one and done. Oh, it's sorry,
a series,
forgive
yeah.
me, series. Okay.
This seems more like a TV movie, and yeah, I think that a series is a bit generous for this
Yeah, I'd probably
subject
say it'd be a
matter.
limited kind of small run type thing. Oh. Lord, bad taste.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know. It could be an interesting one. We've got plenty of serial killer dramas, many of whom will probably have done nasty things to children as well. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it turns out to be a really hard-hitting drama that actually holds certain people to account, for example. And I think that might be a good thing. But it very much depends on how it's done. So we'll see. And given it's on Netflix, who the hell knows? This is maybe they're just trying to redeem themselves.
No, this is on. As I said, it's made by independent television.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
In the UK, for BBC.
Is it going out on the BBC?
Yes.
Oh, well, then they know what they're talking about, so it'll be fine.
So it's a 4-part series, it says.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway.
Well, hold on, just out of curiosity, because I haven't seen any of the BBC's I guess fictional stuff. Are they going to do they sweep a lot of that stuff under the rug when it comes to their productions these days?
Well, I will say this. I'm reading Melvin Deeply's comment here. The BBC aren't going to tell the story of their own complicity. It's disgusting they're trying to cash in when they were in on the cover-up.
Oh, I forgot
Agreed.
about that. Oh.
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking about, we got those serial killer dramas on Netflix, for example. If we look at the what was the Dahmer one that they did, they really underplayed the fact that Dahmer had underage victims and what he had done to some of them. So I'm afraid that because of the subject matter here, it'll be the same thing where they'll severely underplay
There's
it.
going to be fucking uproar when this airs.
I like Steve Coogan too, which is a shame.
Yeah.
He's in this.
Yeah, same birthday as me, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The thing is, I will say this actually. When I was growing up in the 70s, we'd we'd even heard the rumors that he was up to no good. Yeah, and I swear to God, when I was a kid, um, we used to make jokes about Savile up to no good, doing naughty stuff. So it was known, but we just thought it was a joke. You know, you just celebrity, just joke, just do what you do with celebrities, take the piss out of them,
Mm.
not actually realizing it was actually true. But anyway, and that was in the 70s. But anyway,
Wonder how far
okay.
they'll go with it. Like, will they show the morgue scene?
Oh, we knew that he was up to no good in Stoke Mandeville, and we were telling jokes about it, but we thought it was a joke. But anyway. Oh, sorry, Melvin. Let's move on. Let's move on. And finally, this is another British story, folks. Sorry to our American brethren. This is kind of a British story. So here you go. This is just me and you, Lord. Michael Parkinson died this week.
Oh yeah. See, like, I'm never really. I'm not really. I don't think old enough to remember ever watching Parkinson.
Yeah, this
Like,
will
I've
be a
seen clips
generational
and
thing. Yeah,
stuff
my
of his on
generation.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So the clips I've seen, he was a fantastic interviewer, and it's the kind of thing that the
The
BBC has
best.
stopped doing, or TV generally has kind of stopped doing. You have to go to YouTube and podcasts to find these kinds of long form interviews
Yeah.
with famous people, and he, you know, is
Yeah.
charismatic and very good at what he did. So, rip Michael.
I will say when I found out I think it was 88. I thought, okay, let's have a look on the tube. Lots of people posting recordings that they'd made, you know, like VHS tapes, and they'd uploaded it. And Parkinson was the best at interviewing. I think one of his famous quotes is, which I try to follow as well, believe it or not. When I'm saying nothing, I know I'm doing my job properly. So I do try not to say much, really, because it's about you guys, and the peeps in the chat are not interested in. They're interested in what you guys have got to say, especially Matt Cat. But anyway, okay. So I would say check out Michael Parkinson videos on YouTube. Probably one of the very, very best interviewers ever, to be honest. Some proper. He's
an actual interviewer, not
yeah.
a,
He's interviewed all. He's been going from the 70s, so he's interviewed all the major stars. All the major stars. I think he said the only person who he didn't interview was Sinatra. He just couldn't quite get close enough. But yeah, so rest in peace, Michael Parkinson. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking that is it. In fact, I know it's it. So that is it. Chat, you are wonderful. Apologies for the StreamYard's failing. I've been looking at I've been going very low tech, looking at my phone for anything, any super chats. So, guys, you are the best. Apologies for the technical issues.
Yeah, fuck you, StreamYard.
I don't know when I don't know when we're going to be back. I thought we were going to be back on Wednesday, but Ahsoka's dropping on Tuesday now, isn't it? So we shall see.
Did you finish RoboCop?
No. We've got Act 3 to do yet.
Oh shit! Are we doing Ahsoka streams, or are we passing that one over?
No, don't pass it over. You have to.
No, we're doing Ahsoka, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just do it Tuesday. Just do it Tuesday.
It's a double episode though, so I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna do it in one hit though. So be warned.
You could do it, yeah. Or do it Wednesday. And do both episodes. 1-2 punch. You can do it. I think you can.
I think the problem is none of us know anything about Ahsoka. Do you, Lord?
I do.
Minimally.
He knows everything about Ahsoka.
I mean, I think I know enough. Is there something special we should know?
Well, we don't know anything about it. That's the problem.
Maybe that'll be the best thing. Like you're going in with fresh eyes on a character you don't know anything about.
We are going to be totally relying on
apprentice.
Z3PO, yeah.
She was Anakin's apprentice. She fought Vader. She left the Jedi Order. Dave Filoni reached in through a time portal and yanked her out of that timeline in order to use her again in this one. So I think that's basically the most important piece of information.
So you've done the review. I think that's it. We don't need to do it. Okay.
No, but this is a sequel to Rebels, basically. I think if you watched Clone Wars and then Rebels, which were animated shows, this seems to be the continuation of those in live action.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I will thank the guests. Vex Electronica. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and congratulations on 3K, and happy channel birthday as well.
Yeah, 12 years. Well, it was yesterday now, folks. Can you believe it? 12 years ago, I signed up for YouTube. I didn't do anything for 10 years, but there you go. New to the channel, Price of Reason. Thank you, my friend. Great to have you on.
Great to be here. Thank you. I really had fun with hanging out with you guys.
You did well.
Likewise.
Well done, my friend. We'll see you another time.
That would be nice.
Cat 83.
Thanks so much for having me. I always have a good time with you guys.
The player. And last but by no means least, he is the Dark Sith Lord. It is the Little Platoon. Cheers, Lord.
Always a pleasure, and well done on the 3K.
Cheers, my friend. I think that is it, folks. As I said, watch out. Ahsoka incoming. Watch the community page, or I'll post it as soon as I know when we're doing it. So, again, apologies for the technical difficulties. We'll probably see a beast up tomorrow. The Lord will be doing that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
With the Blue Man. Probably a lot of the same topics, but more in depth, because that's their bag, as it were. So if we don't see you tomorrow, we don't see you for Ahsoka, we'll see you at the weekend. Have a great week, everybody. Tatty bye. Tatty bye.
Bye.
Timing.